And we are live. Now I just gotta make sure everything's working. No, don't add ads, thanks. Okay, share, copy this. I have a Tumblr? I'm not going to Tumblr. we'll go to X, I guess is what it's called now. I never actually post on X or Twitter.
I've noticed.
I used to go on there a lot.
I think I'm the only person who still does.
Hello, Punk Loki. Welcome to the chat. Don't worry, we're just setting stuff up real quick, and then we'll be ready to go.
Ready to go.
I just gotta copy a link and put it on my YouTube and everything else I own. Or I guess that owns me, really. Oh, I should play this. Here you go. Sorry, there's supposed to be a fire going. Yeah, there you go. Is that too loud?
Oh, there's the fire. I
Yeah,
see it now.
it's not just a PNG. No, I actually edited this together.
That's what I thought it was. I was like, is this just going to be a static image this whole time? I guess it's still vibes, right?
So before I set this up, I wanted to use the pictures you've drawn of us and have them move when we talk, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just left it alone.
Oh, in that case, I'm going to need to share some software with you because it is something that exists, and it's the one that I use.
Is it like PNG tubers? Oh, yeah, sorry, there's no camera today, guys. Did not have time to set all that up. It's not even charged. It's sitting on the floor by itself. All right, let's
Wait, hold on. You use a camera with batteries? You don't have like that thing wired?
No, it's a I bought a wire, but it's not here. I left it at my friend's house. So I took it over there to do some recording. But what it's there for is it's the nicest 4K camera I own. That's the only 4K camera I own, I should say.
Very nice. Okay. I mean, like, that's understandable.
So I want to use that one, and yeah, I just haven't set it up. So you guys will just get my lovely voice today, and my co-host today, the Midnight Bard.
Hello, everyone. It is I, the Midnight Bard.
Yeah, he's great, by the way. Check his stuff out. We'll link it at the end. We're going to read some stories to you. We're going to talk about some creepypastas / urban legends / cryptids. I will not be going too deep into creepypastas today, to let you guys know. I'm going to be focusing on supposed real cryptids and some urban legends we found interesting. Feel free to throw them in the chat too, by the way.
I like how you led that by saying supposed real cryptids.
Well, because, you know, some cryptids are just more interesting, but they're not real, obviously.
I believe in the hoop snake.
I also believe in the hoop snake. But I also believe in Hooba Stank, and they weren't very good.
Hooba Stank! Yes, crawling in the dark.
I mean, that's their best song. They have some other ones, I guess.
I was gonna say, do they have other songs? I would love to know.
Supposedly.
Okay, then.
Supposedly. Sorry, guys. I'm still getting set up real quick. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I'm not the best at setting stuff up very quickly. There.
Yes.
It takes me forever to get started.
One real cryptid is the native wolf in Japan. It's supposed to be extinct, but there's sightings and photos, says Punk Loki in the chat.
Oh, that's interesting. Let me look into that one.
Like the Tasmanian tiger wolf of old, where, you know, like it was a real thing, and then it went extinct, right?
A lot of cryptids are like that.
But to this day, they still say that there's sightings of the Tasmanian tiger wolf.
Tasmanian tiger wolf. So I'm assuming it's in Tasmania then.
Yeah, I believe so. Honestly, I didn't keep track of it too much, but I saw the drawings of it. It looks almost like a Pokemon.
Like a Pokemon.
It looks like a Pokemon. If you ever see like the sketches of it, I'm like, there's no way that's a real animal.
I feel like that's going to be the case with most of the animals I have planned for the day, because I have quite a few in this collection for us to go through today. Welcome, everyone who's just joining us now. We will be going through some cryptids, some stories, and just kind of talking about cryptids, urban legends. Feel free to throw any in the chat, so we'll check some out ourselves. Usually I would have picked like 2 to 3 cryptids to cover fully for you guys, but we're just going to wing it today. And then maybe next time, if this is like something people really want, we'll do it. We'll do it for next time.
Ooh. Let's do it.
All right, well, let's start then.
Let's start by asking the question. I see that Emily in the chat already asked, what is your favorite cryptid?
What is my favorite cryptid? Great
Yeah.
question, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
So have you guys ever been to West Virginia?
Mountain Mama, take me
There's
home.
so the Mothman there, right?
Yeah.
He's very cool looking. No, I like so my favorite part about the Mothman, because I'm not gonna say it's my favorite just yet, because there is one that I like a little bit more than Mothman, but I like that Mothman is established specifically to warn people about stuff that's gonna happen. I just love that aspect of the character.
Agreed. Yes, like very prophetic, like an omen of ill. It's really, really cool. And I love that kind of element in fiction of, like that thing that if you see it, it's just like a bad omen, like, a raven or an owl or a black cat, things like that.
Yeah, omens of basically death or some
Yeah.
negative thing, like the banshee from Celtic folklore, where if you hear the banshees cry, then something bad's gonna happen to you or someone you know soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a cool one. I like that one.
Wasn't a banshee just like a real person though? Like, wasn't that the case that eventually became very mythologicized? That's a word.
I want to believe that, but I don't actually. I haven't looked into that one myself. Let me Google that.
Yeah,
Well,
or this is me going off hearsay of something that I'd heard before, so I wasn't sure, so I threw it out there to see if you would know.
oh, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on a lot of Celtic lore specifically,
Mm.
but I do know a decent amount about it,
Mm-hmm.
like the Doulahans and stuff like that. Like I know a lot of the for fun stuff, but I don't 100% know what their actual basis comes from. So, also, can you guys hear the fire? By the way, it should be making noise.
I know I can hear it, but yeah.
Let me turn it up a little bit. There you go. The crackling of fire and the sounds of the woods.
Yes, come gather around the campfire.
Please, friends, take off your shoes and warm your hands by the warm fire.
It is, gosh, this makes me miss like the intros that I used to do whenever I used to do the Creepypasta channel, because I had like a whole spiel about the campfire that I did before every video.
Oh,
You know,
you want to do that now? Let's go. Let's go.
oh, I don't even remember it to be real with it. It's something about like, welcome to my campfire. It is I, the Midnight Bard, and I travel from place to place, seeking the strange, the bizarre, and the unexplained. And then afterwards, I'd break into like some thing that I'd write about the story that I'd found about that day.
Wow, that was good. Doesn't remember it. Says it mostly, probably word for word. Very good. Very good.
I said it a million times. I mean, it was just like, yeah, at this point, it's just like muscle memory.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, my favorite cryptid,
Yeah. Let's go.
Hachishaku-sama.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me
Or
what that one is.
Hashaku-sama is kind of a yokai in Japan.
Okay.
It is just a very, very tall woman. Kind of looks like about 8 feet tall. I think that's exactly what the name translates to. Is 8 feet tall.
8 feet
And
tall.
yes, she wears a like big hat, kind of like with a very wide brim. And she's kind of like a stalker enemy in Resident Evil games. If you know the stalker enemies.
Yeah,
that
yeah, I do know the
they just
stalkers.
follow
Yes.
you. So it's my understanding that she will follow you around forever, just saying bull, bull, bull. And then it's just like a very, very creepy thing. Supposedly, she has a habit of preying on children, but around the ages of 9 to 11 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But, there is like some reports of her stalking like men in their 20s, 30s, etc. So you see, it's kind of a scary thing because those stalker enemies that just follow you, kind of like the movie It Follows, are very terrifying when you think about it. It's just like
They
this
are, yeah.
force of nature that will not cease until it has caught you, right? But me personally, I always hope it would develop into something romantic.
I was expecting this, but not this early in the stream. But yeah, romantic feelings with with the cryptids.
Yes.
Like there's a whole meme within the, because I'm in the cryptid Reddit page, and there's a big meme about what is it? It's I want to clap that one Dusty for the Wendigo, and it's like you can't do that, and you shouldn't probably.
No, please.
Let's
Leave the
see.
Wendigos alone.
Sounds like my ex-girlfriend. Yeah, you know, you can talk to somebody about that one though. I get you,
Lord.
friend. Be safe out there.
Oh, I'm gonna cough. I'm still recovering from a cold.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I feel a little bad, you know, because like earlier today, I told my co-host, I was like, hey man, you want to take a day off from like the podcast because you know I'm still recovering. But you know, earlier this morning, I actually felt really sick, and then as the day progressed, I just got better and better. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go talk about cryptids.
You know, I totally forgot that I'm just hijacking you from your own stream to be on mine. So I do apologize, but thank you for being here.
No, it's all good.
I didn't have a good visual, so like if it's gonna be staring at a fire while I'm just talking to my screen, would have been a lot less fun.
Right. Yeah, so Hashaku-sama is one of my favorites, but I also love the Mothman. Mothman's just very, very fun.
Mothman's cool, yeah. What's the creepiest cryptid you can think of? Like one that actually terrifies you?
Ooh, man, one that actually Wendigos. I mean, like...
Wendigos? Okay.
Wendigos, or,
I can see that.
More, I mean, Wendigos, yes, mostly because I keep thinking of the game Until Dawn, and that was like the big ad of the game. But,
I forgot they were in that.
But specifically, if we're talking about like American legends, the Skinwalker, just oh no, like absolutely not.
Are you referring to? So you're referring to the original Skinwalker story from Native American folklore? Or are you talking about the internet's version of the Skinwalker?
Well, definitely the original. Like, you know, hey, this is a medicine person, you know, like a healer with magic that just chose to use magic for evil means, and then eventually just kind of lost themselves in the sauce. That's a very terrifying thing, and it plays really well into that story archetype of like, you know, power corrupting. So I always find it just very, very fascinating, and I'm like, this is something that I would love to be a real thing, because it would be like, whoa, how cool, but I would hate for it to be a real thing, because I was like, oh no, that's terrifying.
Yeah, they are a little terrifying. I always, so as a kid, my biggest fear, and I don't know why, was the Bigfoot. Now, I lived near the woods where I live. I lived near the redwoods growing up. And so, you know, we could hear the stories about Bigfoot being out there. And like, I just remember having a dream as a kid a lot, just repeatedly, where I'd wake up my window, which is because I slept next to my window, and just see a big old Bigfoot out there just staring in the window at me. And yeah, so that was just a recurring nightmare for a long time. So Bigfoot scares me. He's not scary looking, but you know, scares me.
Kind of a fun thing. I what's it called? Recently had to do a whole lot of Bigfoot content, right? And one thing that I found out, yes, but like, so what I found out in this is, you know, like these were stories submitted by people who had alleged encounters with Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
And what was I gonna say is the things that they say about Bigfoot isn't exactly how media paints him, right? Usually Bigfoot's all like, oh, it's just big ape in the middle of the woods. It's just like really, really elusive. But some of the things that they say about like, oh no, this is a savage beast and it moves unnaturally. Like it could drop down to the ground and run like a spider on all fours. It's really creepy. Also, they're just savagely strong. Like, you know, like they'll pick up a deer and then just like swing it against a tree to kill it, right? And it's just like, holy what? And it's like, yeah, no, these things are terrifying if seen in person. But here's the thing, half the time they'll be around and they're so stealthy you won't know they're there until they're on you. And it's just the most terrifying thing ever. And it surprises me that like media just doesn't portray it this way. It's always like, oh no, it's just, you know, kind of a goofy little guy lives in the forests.
Goofy little guy who lives in the forest is yeah, correct. Right. Let me check some comments real quick. Black Eyed Children are the previous to me. Black Eyed Children are pretty cool. I forgot about them, to be honest.
Yeah, they originated in my home state of Texas.
They did. The guy in the 90s who made it up. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, I didn't make it up. He discovered it. Yes. Yeah, he was from Texas. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. If I made a Skibbity toilet iceberg, what's Skibbity toilet? Is that the one where? Is that like the Gmod thing? I think it's the Gmod one, right?
Is this some Zoomer joke? I'm too millennial to understand.
I'm not sure. I'm a Zoomer technically. Like, what is this?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Is that a? Well, I just read the succubus message. What? Succubus? I don't think succubi count as cryptids, but they are pretty cool, like in general.
Yeah.
Manhead and toilet cannot be zoomed. Oh, Gen A not. Oh, it's Gen Alpha? Okay, okay.
Oh, it's Gen A? How weird.
Yeah, we're in Gen Alpha now. That's where my, yeah. Trying to think of someone I would know that's in Gen Alpha. I don't know anyone in Gen Alpha yet, I guess. I don't have kids around me.
We will find out eventually, I guess. I don't know.
Serious black-eyed children. So the thing about the black-eyed children too is that it goes further into the Men in Black and the like alien conspiracies that are really popular in the. I guess technically they started in the 70s, right, with Mothman in them. Because Mothman started a whole slew of stories focused just about the Men in Black and aliens. All focused around Point Pleasant.
Yeah, Men in Black are also kind of terrifying. You know, there's some people who believe that Men in Black are just like adult versions of black-eyed kids.
I haven't heard that, but that sounds accurate. Yeah. So they that's why they're always wearing sunglasses, I guess. Gotta hide those eyes.
Yeah, gotta hide the eyes, but also that there's like a lot of things that kind of overlap. Like they're usually very pale. There's something kind of uncanny about them. They speak kind of like in this monotone. So there's a whole lot of things where people are like, yeah, this is this leads us to believe that these Men in Black are just adult versions of the black-eyed kids.
I like that actually. I'm gonna hold that one for later, if I ever need that. Yeah. I'm keeping that one. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Let's see. Let's do some reading then. See if we can find something.
Okey-doke.
Did you find anything on Reddit?
On Reddit, no, but I do have like the wiki page up for La Lechuza, which we were gonna talk about.
Take it away.
Okay. Okay. So this is from History Defined. It says, deep in the deserts of the southwest and northern Mexico, there is said to live a creature that has been feeding on the blood of animals and humans alike for the past several centuries. A monster that's part bird and part woman. It is so powerful that once it sets its beady eyes on you, there is nothing you can do to escape or fight back. What is this fearsome beast, you ask? It's called La Lechuza. Okay, so translated as owl in Spanish, La Lechuza is far scarier than any ordinary bird. According to legends that have persisted throughout the southwestern Mexico, La Lechuza is a witch who takes the form of an owl at night and terrorizes anyone who comes across her. They say that La Lechuza is 7 feet tall and has a 15-foot wingspan. In fact, she is so large that she can grab a grown man in her talons and carry him off to her lair. And whenever I'm reading this, I'm just thinking like, oh, this is just Hashaku-sama, only 1 foot less tall and a harpy.
I've noticed a lot with the cryptid / like mythological creatures from completely different countries are all very similar. There's a Native American story called I think it's called the Thunderbird. That sounds very similar to this one as well.
And when you think about it, this also sounds like the Skinwalker because this is a witch who turns into a bird, kind of the same way how Skinwalkers are, medicine people or witch doctors who transform into animals.
Yeah, and is there an evil take with this version, or no?
Well, this is the evil take. Yeah, though they feed on people. So
they eat people.
Yeah, or they feast on their blood is what the article said. So I don't know. So sightings of La Lechuza have most often occurred in the Mexican regions of Chihuahua, Coahuila, I think that's how you say that, Durango, Nuevo León, and Tamaulipas, as well as the American Southwest regions of the Rio Grande Valley. Let's see. But yes, the very next sentence. But why is a giant witch owl roaming the sky at night and devouring human prey? By one account, this witch was a woman who was wronged during her lifetime. Some versions of the legend claim that her child was killed by the villagers after they accused her of using magic. Others claim that a drunk killed her child. Either way, ever since, she has been exacting her revenge.
Wow. It sounds very, very similar to some other legends I've been reading, so I do like the whole... I wonder why
also a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like the whole thing with the children and how it's a scorned woman. That's her whole storyline. There's literally there's like this section of land that leads between the towns. I don't know why I call it land. It's a path that you can drive on. That's like through kind of like a rocky, gravelly area, but it cuts straight through to get to from one of the small towns that I used to live in to another small town where my uncle lives in. And my dad would, whenever we drive through there and I would drive him, he wouldn't let me drive there at night because he swore he saw a crying woman in white out there. My dad is pretty superstitious. Yes. So like I could not go out every night. He'd be like, there's something out there. So we'd only drive through this path during the day. And at night we'd have to go all the way around. And it's an extra it's only like 15 more minutes, but saving 15 minutes of a drive, that's worth seeing, whatever's out there.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's always fun to see them, but whenever they start chasing you back, that's a different story, I believe.
He claimed she was crying at him, so it probably was La Llorona.
Yeah.
So like my dad's, I mean, obviously I'm Mexican too, but my dad's very old school Mexican, and we grew up in California. I grew up in California, so that's pretty normal for me, honestly. Let's see what we got. The West Point Pusher Crusher. It's really spooky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is,
actually. What is that? Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to need an explanation for that one in the chat, please. But the woman in white is bad, though. You know what? She probably was, but he didn't say that. He just said she was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, he means bad, like bad,
I suppose so. Like.
Yeah, what? I don't make like not like evil, like.
Like she's a baddie?
Yeah, like she's a baddie. Yes, I'm trying to say.
Oh, I see. Okay, understood.
Yeah, it's a place we don't really go to much anymore because I don't live in that area, and haven't for a while. But someday I'm gonna take my dad there and drive him down there. But he'd always tell me a different story about something whenever we drive through there. Every single time. White women scare you too? Oh, come on, man. They're not all bad.
No, they're not all bad. I mean. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
No one's bad based on, anything really. Anyways, let's see what we got here. So I have this one that someone recommended me read called The Sandown Clown, which I've never heard of before. I'm sure you haven't either.
I have not.
It's from Europe.
Europa.
It says England, so I'm assuming that's also where it's from. But let me just quickly read through this.
Yes, Inglaterra.
You're going to find a funny way to say every single European country, aren't you?
No, Inglaterra is the Spanish name for England. What do you mean?
I've never heard that before. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard that one before.
Yes, of course. Spanish, what's that?
How dare you come into my home? Anyways. So this is from England. It's supposedly an alien? Okay, we'll see what it is.
Oh, neat.
No, it's called the Sandown Clown. The Sandown Clown was a strange being encountered by two young children vacationing at Lake Common, Sandown, Isle of Wight, UK in May of 1973. Following a sound like an ambulance siren, the children wandered across a footbridge over a stream and met a curious, unidentifiable being that has been described as a cross between a clown, a robot, and an alien. It was a shy but friendly being and spoke kindly to the children for almost a half an hour before they returned to their parents. It seemingly vanished after the encounter and has never been seen again. So it's a ghost alien clown, and I don't know why, but that just sounds like the most European thing I could have thought of. But it's such an interesting thing. It's 2 meters tall. I can't imagine what 2 meters is in my head right off the bat. So it's not too tall.
About 6-7 feet, yeah.
Okay, so pretty tall then.
Yeah, about a yard, so 3 feet roughly.
A meter's a yard exactly, though? No. Hold on.
No, I'm lying. I'm making things up.
Oh, okay. How
Unless
tall?
I'm right, in which case I meant exactly what I said.
2 meters in feet is 6.5. You're pretty close.
Oh yeah, baby. I
So,
meant to say that.
So they're pretty tall, which is pretty common with a lot of alien sightings, is they're usually tall. So like, something we're going to get into later is the Smiling Man. Which is kind of a mixture of creepypasta and cryptid sighting. But he was seen as 6'5" to 7 feet and described as a man in a suit who was smiling. So this kind of reminds me of that in a way. Its skin's very white, consistency of paper, and it only had 3 digits on both its feet and its hands. So I'm assuming 2 fingers and a thumb, maybe? I don't know.
Reminds you a little bit of Indrid Cold, doesn't it? Like, is Indrid Cold?
Indrid Cold is the
Smiling Man.
Yeah, that's it. I made a whole video on it a long time ago.
Yeah. I watched it. It was great.
Oh, thank you. I actually didn't know you watched that video. That's before we were chilling. Yeah, so I don't know. Someone recommended me I read it. I thought it was an interesting story when I went through it. There's this really creepy picture I gotta find, if I can find it while you... Let me see if I can send you something to read real quick while I look for this.
Sure.
Let's see what we got here. I don't have anything but the Mothman up for some reason. Yes, I love the Mothman. Why is it the only thing on here, though?
Because Mothman deserves his own episode.
I should make a Mothman episode. I should read the book, The Mothman Prophecies. I've been wanting to for a while.
I heard the movie didn't quite live up to it.
Movies rarely ever live up to the book.
Yeah, I mean, like, the movie's all I've seen, so I mean, like, and I thought the movie was pretty dang good. But then again, I see exactly where you're coming from, though, because, like, my favorite TV show for a while was the Dresden Files, and I thought
There's a Dresden Files show?
Yes, and I thought the Dresden Files show was great until I read the books, and then I was like, oh my god, look how they butchered the material. Good lord.
So I didn't know that it had a TV show because I've read the books and I loved them.
Yeah. Paul Blackthorne plays Harry Dresden. It was if you've never read the books, it was a good show. If you read the books, you're like, how could they do this?
How they massacred my child. Maybe I should read them then. Or not read them, but I should watch it just to get a quick comparison.
Oh, look, please. If you like Dresden, the books, please don't subject yourself to that level of torture.
I guess I won't for now. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to find you so someone posted a ton of them in here and I want to go through. So I guess we'll start with the first one. I'll just send you a quick thing to read. It's called The Owl Man.
Ooh, The Owl Man.
Yeah, I've never heard of this one myself. Oh, it's got a whole Wikipedia. He's a Cornish folklore.
He's also a villain in DC Comics. He's a parallel universe version of Batman.
Yeah, isn't he from, what's it called?
Yeah, from the universe where they're all evil, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that checks out. This is not what I'm looking at. What is this? Cornish folklore. It's a Cornish... Okay, well, I can't find... Oh, here he is on the Cryptid Wiki. That'll do. It's a very short paragraph, so I guess I have a little bit of time. Let me just send this directly to the chat. There you go.
I hear in the chat that the Slender Man movie was really bad. Was it? I never saw it.
Which one? There's 3 of them.
Oh, there's 3 of them. I didn't even know that.
There's the Slender Man movie made by Sony. There's the Slender Man movie called The Tall Man. And there's the Slender Man movie made by Marble Hornets called Marble Hornets something.
Oh,
I watched all 3 of them.
Bye Bye Man. The Bye Bye Man was terrible, and I felt like that was inspired by Slender Man a lot.
I've never seen the Bye Bye Man. Is that the Australian one?
No, it was an American-made one, and other than having a very terrible name for a movie, okay, look, have you ever seen something that had like a really, really interesting premise, but it was executed just poorly, very, very poorly?
That's all the Slender Man movies, yeah.
Yeah, so this is one. So, like, the Bye Bye Man was kind of like this thought contagion that as long as people were aware of it, it just kept spreading by kind of like a cogito hazard from, like, SCPs. Like, if you know of it, you're infected by it.
I always loved that.
Yeah, but, like, it's kind of the thing that one guy figured out that it was that. So in an attempt to save the world, he went on a killing spree, killing everyone who knew, and then himself. But the thing was, one of the people who he shot, who knew of the Bye Bye Man, survived. So
No.
he didn't know because he shot himself. But
Wait, that's such a
yeah,
cool plot, though.
yeah, and imagine for a plot like this good to just go so terribly. It was just like,
Oh, no,
wow.
that sucks. That's that. No, that sounds so cool. I gotta watch. I don't want to watch it now though, because I already know what
Yeah,
happens. But also, I want to watch it because it sounds cool.
yeah, yeah. It's insane. Well, I mean, no, that's just like the opening act. So that's
Oh,
like
that's
the
not the whole
first.
movie.
No, that's the
Uh,
first 10 minutes, maybe. Like I'm probably being very generous. It was probably closer to 8 minutes, right? And it's kind of like leaves you with like, well, why did this man kill all these people? And then it's kind of like a plot that you follow throughout the movie. It's like, well, why did he? And then you realize, oh, he was the hero we never knew we needed, and now the pee pee poo poo man is gonna get us all.
Someone would make the pee pee poo man a real thing, and then it would just end up being the strongest cryptid to ever exist. It was just like, oh yeah, I eat wendigos for breakfast. Like I go into the forest, hunt them down, and they're delicious.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
Oh man.
the Sony movie. Okay, so have you seen Slenderman the movie, like the Sony one?
No, I have not.
It is a
I
travesty of a film because it could
Oh,
have
is it?
been so good. Because everything set up with it could have been really cool. They had some really cool ideas. So the movie starts with basically this group of teenage girls having a sleepover party, right? Whatever. It's pretty normal. It's not like weird 80s movies where they're all in like lingerie and stuff hanging out, hitting each other with pillows, right? It's just a regular like sleepover you'd expect. It's something I would have done at a sleepover because they end up turning on a YouTube video and going down a rabbit hole of creepy videos where they end up on the Slender Man video. In
I
the
love
Slender
it
Man
already.
video, so they have the Slender Man video. If you watch it, he comes for you. Okay, whatever. Not actually his lore, but I guess they needed something that made sense to general audiences. They did that, and then like Slenderman just shows up and starts scaring them with random stuff, makes them see things and all this and that. They steals one of the kids right away, and the whole story's about them trying to find this girl, and it just does not do a good job at it. The scares aren't interesting. The coolest parts are some of the shots where the Slenderman's kind of in the background. You don't see him fully, but he's there. He's like amongst the trees, and the shots look so good. But then you're like, oh, these actors are they're just not given the material for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can kind of understand what happened there. It's probably like we had a really cool concept and we really wanted to go with it, but like we just kind of like didn't do it justice, right?
We did
It
not.
reminds me the way that you're describing it. Have you ever seen the movie? It's a horror movie called Mama.
It sounds really familiar.
Okay, so basically, like, couple moves into like this home that's plagued by a ghost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ghost kind of becomes obsessed with one of the daughters because it's like the ghost was before it was a ghost, it was a woman who had its daughter, her daughter, taken away from her. And so like as a ghost, she forms kind of like this loving bond with this child, right? But then, of course, maternal instincts take over. It is just like this horrifying thing to all of the other people living in the house. But the thing about it is, though, they never outright show her to you, not right away. So she's more of like this presence,
Wait,
and
hold on. This sounds very familiar.
yeah. So
Does
like
it have does it have like the adult daughter coming back to face the demon that lives in the house, or no?
what it so it has two daughters. They're both children. One of them significantly younger, probably like 4 or 5, something like that.
Okay.
And then the other one's like 8 or 9.
Okay, no, this is what
Uh,
I'm thinking of.
right. But it was just like this really, really good movie because it's like, okay, firstly, the ghost is in the house. Secondly, the ghost wants the child, so that's already terrifying. And like, but not like in like a, oh, I'm gonna steal the child because I'm an evil monster, huh? But more like I am a tragic being, and this is the only thing that brings me joy. But like, so the way that it's shot is so good because it's like there will always be like this sense of unease, and there's always like just something out of the corner of your eye that you're like, that's not normal. And then like like the camera will focus and it's like, oh, it's fine. But then some other times the camera will focus and it'll be like, oh, it's not fine. It's something in the room.
Yeah.
Just really, really good. Oh, I recommend it.
There was a horror movie that sounds very similar to that, but it's about a mom who's been haunted by her imaginary friend. And it got her off of her pills because if she was on them, she wouldn't be schizophrenic anymore and wouldn't be able to see her. And the whole movie kind of makes you think that the mom might not be crazy and she's just, you know, I don't know, has some issue. But really, her imaginary friend is a ghost that just been haunting her for life, and it killed her husbands, both of them. She has 2 kids. She has the adult kid who's like 20 something, and then has the little kid who's, I don't know, 10. And she ends up taking him to her house because the mom's not watching him, but because she can't, because the ghost is constantly haunting her. And so she takes the kid, and then the ghost wants the kid back, and so it goes and starts trying to attack her new house. I don't remember what the movie was called. It was on Netflix one night, and I just threw it on. It was really good, whatever it was.
Wait. I think I remember this movie. No. I'm thinking about a completely different one. Oh, what was it? It
was really popular for a minute, but I didn't remember what it was called.
Man. No, I'm thinking about the wrong one. It hit me like halfway through like my brain blast, and I was like, that's not the right movie. But this was also a really good movie, so I don't know. Anyway, we're straying very far away from the cryptids.
Oh, you're right, we are. Anyways, so I sent you the Owl Man. You can take that, read just the beginning intro. Go for it.
Let's see. So the Owl Man is the name given to a large owl-like humanoid entity, noticeably similar to the Mothman. It lives in Cornwall, England, and has been sighted several times. The first sighting took place in 1976 in the village of Mawnan. I think that's right. Mawnan.
Sounds right to me.
The Owlman is sometimes seen as the English counterpart of the Mothman due to the similarities between the two.
And also, the Mothman might just be a giant owl, because giant owls live in the area.
I think it was something that, like a while ago, whenever I did some Mothman things, me and 242, who was doing it with me, were discussing different sightings of things that could have been Mothman, and some of them were in Europe. There was one in Asia. I think it was in Japan before the meltdown of one of their nuclear plants.
Mm-hmm. There's also one in Ukraine during the... I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, during Ukraine, all of that, and there was and more recently in the early 2000s in Chicago. So luckily nothing has come of the Chicago one, but yeah.
So it was the Ukraine one. It was Chernobyl. I don't know why I forgot that. It's a Chernobyl incident. During the Chernobyl incident, they saw it. I don't know. I've been like dead brained for a little bit.
Nothing bad has ever happened in Ukraine, right?
No.
It's like, oh, Chernobyl. Oh, right.
Chernobyl happened, yeah. Yeah, so they had their own version. It was called something else. I think it was called the Chernobyl Mothman for a little while, but they had another name for it that was really cool sounding. That had something to do with the radiation as part of it, like radiation ash or yeah, something like that. I covered it for a video a while ago, which... I think the video got demonetized, so I never followed up with the sequel, but yeah. Yeah, I've been getting hit with the monetization stuff a lot lately, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there, but yeah.
A lot of the drawings here on the wiki do kind of seem a little bit like what the drawings of Owl or of Mothman kind of look like. You know, just kind of like this tall humanoid, big wingspan, glowing red eyes.
Yeah, this one, the third image looks kind of like the owl creature from... Avatar, the one that protects the library.
Oh, Wang Shitong, he who knows 10,000 things.
Oh, only 10,000, and he lives forever? Come on, man.
I'm like, you've been slacking in your studies, Wang.
Yeah, what are you doing,
the same book over and over.
To be fair, if I lived forever and was stuck in a library, I'd probably also find a book I really liked and just read that over and over again.
I was going to say, I don't think that I would want to continuously study. I'd be like, look, I'm going to take 500 years to just do me. You know what I mean? Like...
500 years to just do me. I would be sitting there on the couch watching YouTube videos for 500 years, man. That's like 90% of what I do when I'm not working.
Right. So,
playing Apex Legends, I guess. My current addiction.
Ah, yes, Apex Legends.
Still need to download it.
You still need to download?
You still need to download it.
Oh, me need to download? No, I'm bad at aiming.
You can learn. Anyways, let's find another cryptid. So there's like a weird thing with cryptids and creepypastas that do kind of blend over. Mm-hmm. So which cryptids from creepypasta internet lore, I guess, have something that kind of comes to mind a lot? Like, what's the first thing when someone says an internet cryptid? What would be the first thing you'd think of?
Oh boy, internet cryptid? Like, whenever you were talking about creepypastas, I mean, like, my mind immediately went to, like, Jeff the Killer, but I don't think that counts because that would be more like a fugitive, right?
Yeah, I mean, in some stories, he does possess some sort of like some sort of powers, and he also eats people, mainly children.
Right.
But I don't know if those are canon stories, technically.
Slenderman, for sure. Yeah,
Slenderman?
like Slenderman.
Okay, Slenderman's a good first choice.
What's the one about the TV show that was basically haunted? Candle Cove?
Candle Cove. Is that a cryptid? That's a cool one, though. I like that one.
It's a cool one. I don't know that if it's like a cryptid. It would be more like an SCP, if you ask me. You know, it's like, oh, this weird television program that just shows up to kids of a certain generation for no reason and just absolutely torments them. You know?
I like that. I like torment. I mean, not tormenting kids, but...
Dog.
Oh, yeah, Smile Dog. That's a cool one. Hold on. Yeah. See my name here. Should I paste my explanation of the pusher now? You can put it in my Discord and I can grab it if you're in my Discord or not. And you can't put a link in the chat. I don't think links are allowed in chat. I think it auto kicks links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rake is one that's been brought up in the chat.
The Rake is my favorite, so I'm glad that was brought up. How much do you know about the Rake, by the way?
I know that I read one story about the Rake once, and it terrified the bejesus out of me. So I was like, ah, yeah, boy, that's a good one.
Okay. So the Rake is the first ever kind of internet cryptid that ever existed. Oh, hello in the chat, by the way. Sorry, guys. I have a problem with not checking chat when I'm talking to somebody. But I will do it more often.
I 100% missed like just the easiest setup. Well, how much do you know about the Rake? Not as much as I know about the shovel.
You know, we'll save that one for next time. We'll put that in the outtakes. It'll be on the Patreon if you want to see the outtakes. It's on the Patreon, guys. But the Rake is one of my favorites because it was the very first one, and it was created by 4chan of all places. Well, 4chan makes a lot of them.
Yeah.
But their whole goal was to make a creature. They're like, let's make a cryptid. Let's make something. And so they made the Rake.
Careful, that's how tulpas happen.
That's a whole thing. Tulpas also, basically people figured it came to life because of the belief the internet had in it. Right. And so the Rake became this creature that basically just watches you. It haunts you. It follows you. But there's nothing specific about it that it kills you with. You know, it has sharp claws and teeth, and apparently sometimes it'll eat you, but that's not in all the stories. Most of the stories, it'll just watch you and see what you're doing. And then if you approach it or you are aggressive with it, it might kill you. But then the very first creepypasta someone made on it, because before it wasn't a creepypasta, it was just a bunch of stories on 4chan about it, had it going and attacking this family for what we thought was no reason, but they never give a reason why. So that's, for now, it's just no reason. And then the story ends with her tracking it down, but she heard it call her name at night, and it's just done from there. Yeah. It's a good story. Really good.
Yikes. No thanks. That's so scary.
But there's quite a few internet cryptids. I think somebody in the chat mentioned earlier Siren Head.
Siren Head was the one I was thinking about. I was like, oh, I know the one with the big speaker for a head. I know it.
Siren Head is such a cool concept. It was created by Trevor Henderson, the internet horror artist. He created it, and it just blew up. It became bigger than like all of his other ones. Long Horse is still pretty good too. The mouth door one was kind of cool. I don't know what it's called. But Siren Head was the coolest because it's this giant elongated monster, and it can mimic human voices through its sirens, but mostly it just plays a like loop of the siren music, you know? And that is such a like, the concept of it is just so Silent Hill, and I love it.
It is very Silent Hill. I dig it so much. It goes back to like, you know, those stalker bosses, you know, like Until they start following you, they're not really dangerous. So, just avoid their gaze as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. They had some games with it too. I haven't played any of them yet. I really should. Next
Mm.
stream, Siren Head Games, guys. Show up for it Tuesday or something. I don't know. I'll pick a day this week. But there's like 5 or 6 Siren Head games, and they're all relatively short, but it could be a fun time. Also, Fallout 4 as a mod that lets you fight Siren Head, which is...
Oh, does it? Interesting.
You probably don't win, but you can, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out.
If I know anything from video games, is that I can win very, very much if I just stick to it.
I just shoot
mod
it.
the heck out of the game.
Yeah, I just need to mod a special gun that kills any enemy, doesn't matter what kind it is.
Right.
But yeah, Siren Head's a really cool story. I've been reluctant to talk about it on the channel just because for a while it was just insanely popular, and I was like, okay, this is the time, and then it would drop out of popularity, and like, okay, well then I gotta wait a little bit, and then I just needed to sit down and make a Siren Head video at this point. Just whatever he does, just get to him.
Yeah, I like him. He's cool.
He is
has
cool.
the Midnight Bard seal of approval.
I'll let him know. Let me just type into. Let me just message Trevor Henderson real quick.
Oh,
Hey,
okay, yes. We're messaging to Trevor Head. I thought that we were gonna be like, okay, yeah, let me just DM Siren Head.
Let me just DM Siren Head. You're right. My bad. I should hit him up. Well, he got off X now. He got banned. So I guess I'll have to go check him out somewhere else. Yeah, maybe he's on Facebook. If people even still use Facebook.
I haven't used Facebook in over a decade, I don't think.
I mean, I go on there occasionally to like see if my family has done anything, but like that's about it.
Kind of the same. Like, I use it to just kind of see what my dad's up to, but that's really about it.
Like most of the time when I go on there, it's just like, oh yeah, where I used to live, all these problems are happening. Cool, I don't live there anymore. Nice. And that's kind of it.
I can't anymore because it's like all the ads, man. Like, like the other day I was on Instagram and I swear I was scrolling for a while and everything was ads. I was like, wow, not a single update from a friend or something?
Nope. Never.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But like, yeah, so Facebook kind of the same. They're owned by the same company, right? So, I mean, it's kind of to be expected, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I go on occasionally, but I try to stay away from it. Though there is a new form of content I'm trying to create through Facebook. There's a thing on Facebook, right, where you can make your way into little groups, because people have some groups on there that are just absolutely the worst thing you ever imagined in your life.
Yeah.
And so like I just want to go in and like infiltrate some of these and just kind of see what they're doing, because people post some really dark crap on there.
Yeah.
So like it's a little realistic. It's like more than what I'm used to doing, which I kind of just stick to fake, not fake, but like not real horror, not people dying and stuff.
It's some scary
True
stuff.
crime.
Yeah, true crime.
Yeah, stay from true crime most of the time. I want to get into it a little bit more, but I'm waiting for the right video topic to come to my mind before I'm ready to make that dive.
I'll toss some cases over your way that I think are interesting. See what you think.
Oh, please do.
Absolutely.
Please do. I'm also working on it's a cult that's starting to form in a small town I used to live near. And I've been following them for a while, and I'm like, they're actually they're kind of taking over the town altogether. And so I'm really excited to like make that. But it's got to be more like a documentary style video. And it's going to be real interesting when I actually figure out how to do it. And also, I met some people who used to be part of the cult who got out. So I can even interview them and see what they think. My cat came in here and started clawing my carpet immediately. I love cats. They're great. Anyways.
It's like, what cult?
Wait, what's the cult? You'll find out.
Neato.
In maybe a month.
I'm ready for this. Let's go.
My newest video coming out soon is about liminal hellscapes. So that'll be fun. I'm exploring some liminal spaces I found and some liminal this and that, and I don't want to give it away too much, but that'll be out next Sunday because I had to add more to the script, and now it's super long. So I need an extra day to record it.
It's always funny to me because whenever I see like these liminal horror things, it's like, oh, it's the back rooms or it's like an abandoned mall. I'm always like, oh, that looks so cozy.
that's a big thing about liminal spaces too, is people can consider them comfy or terrifying. And no, I don't talk about the backrooms at all. This entire video, or the entire video, will have 0 backrooms references, which is kind of a big thing, honestly.
Yeah, that's kind of a huge undertaking, isn't it? Like if we're talking about liminal hellscapes and not including the backrooms, and it's a long video. I mean, like
it's an
I
hour and
know.
20 minutes.
Oh,
so
holy
far.
cow!
So
I gotta know.
yeah, it's a lot of different liminal spaces I was able to find. Some are video games, some are online, some are like websites and different things. And yeah, I might actually split up into 2 videos because I just remembered I have a whole section I haven't added yet, and it's like another 40-ish minutes. So I might split up into 2 videos. We'll see. But lately I've been doing like not lost episodes, like lost or abandoned websites that people don't go to anymore that still exist for some reason. And that's
Like
been fun.
Neopets.
Neopets still gets played sometimes.
No kidding. I didn't.
Yeah,
know.
right? Yeah, people still play that. Club Penguin's gone though.
Oh, I know. I remember where I was when I found out the Club Penguin was leaving.
I was on the server. I made a new account.
Yeah.
It did not matter. I was gone.
Oh no.
All right.
Why Club Penguin? Why?
Let's read chat
So
for
anyway,
a second.
cryptids.
Yeah. I'll get to cryptids in a second. Let me see what we got here.
Okay.
Fresno Nightcrawlers. Love Fresno Nightcrawlers. They're like basically mini rakes. They're pretty cool. Sometimes they're depicted as really cute, and sometimes they're terrifying. Oh, terrifying. So there's no in between, I guess. They do have a couple games on that. On like, are you talking about liminal spaces? Because there are a ton of liminal. See, I'm not going with games that are specifically liminal spaces. I'm talking about games that give a liminal vibe. They weren't based. The idea wasn't like, oh, let's make a liminal space video game. It's this game has liminal spaces in it, or this game itself is liminal. So, can I read your last comment? How far up was that? Oh, the thing that stalks the fields counts as a cryptid. The Seed Eater. I don't know what the Seed Eater is, but the thing that stalks the fields is one of my favorite stories. Actually, it's a really good one. Have you read the thing that stalks the fields, Bard?
No, I have not.
Oh, give me a second. Hold on, let me find that.
While you're finding that, I gotta bring attention to a cryptid that I feel like gets absolutely no love, and that's the Loveland Frog. Have you heard of the Loveland Frog?
I heard about it this week because when I put out the question of what should I cover, someone put that in there.
Yeah, the Loveland Frog is just a really really tall frog. Like apparently like it walks on its 2 hind legs like a person.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really creepy, and it's if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the only cryptids to have a musical made after its name. So there's a musical out there called Hot Diggity Dog. It's the Loveland Frog.
Wait, I love that. I need to look into that. I haven't ever heard of this. Also, here's the creepypasta, the thing that stalks the fields. If it's look at it, and if it's too long, don't read it aloud. But if you think you can handle that, it's not too long. You could read through real quick if you want.
Oh yeah, that's not too long. Here we go.
Go for it.
The thing that stalks the fields. It was a few weeks ago that the hay bales started creeping slowly away from the house. Every morning when I woke up, each had moved a few hundred feet from where it was before. I assumed it was pranksters with nothing better to do, so I ignored it. Within a few days, though, the bales began to approach the boundaries of the farm. I was tired from the whole game by then, and decided to move them back. It took a tedious hour to bring them all from where they were to over near the house again, and by the time I was done, I was ready to snap the neck of whatever little pissant was deciding to screw with me. I love the word choice there.
Pissant's a great word.
The next morning, I found each and every one of my horses messily decapitated. Holy cow, that escalated quick.
Yeah, it gets there.
The smell was what woke me up. Each one was slumped over against the side of its stall. There was no signs of the heads. I spent the rest of the day cleaning up the mess and burying the remains. It was only when I was done that I noticed the bales of hay had all returned to their positions from the day before, scattered far out into the fields. This time, I left them where they were. That night, I sat on my porch with my shotgun in hand and a pot of coffee on the table beside me. I sat for hours, straining my eyes into the fields to catch a glimpse of who was moving my hay bales. Finally, I was beginning to nod off. I would have, but just as my eyes began to close, I heard a clamor and rustling of trees from nearby woods. I leaned forward, my heart racing with excitement. I was going to catch the bastard. I fumbled with my gun and fidgeted in my seat, waiting anxiously for whoever it was that was getting close and whoever it was to get close enough to ambush.
It was only when
it was only when the thing got close enough for me to make out its silhouette in the dark that I was frozen still. The thing that crept into my fields from the nearby woods didn't seem to notice me sitting there. It stalked, hunched, and deliberate through the field with the posture of tiptoeing thief. If not for the fact that it must have towered to over 10 feet tall, even in its crouched position, it might have seemed almost frail. The thinness of its arms and legs and the emaciated, caved-in quality of its chest reminded me of a starving animal. Still, this thing was undeniably strong, and I watched it hoist each bale up into its arms with ease and set it down carefully a while away, taking only a few strides to cover the distance. I watched it work, moving each bale thoughtfully. Every once in a while, it would straighten up to look around at the other bale's positions in the field before adjusting the one it was working on ever so slightly. Before it left, it looked towards the house. I felt its eyes sweep over me in the dark, but whether it saw me or not, I couldn't tell. Then it turned silently and crept back the way it came, disappearing into the dark of the woods. It took me an hour before I had the courage to move at all. I went inside after a while, but didn't sleep that night. It was only when the sun rose that I dared step off my porch and into the fields. The hay bales were where it left them. Strangely, it didn't move them as far as it had the previous days. They were approaching something invisible in the fields. And as I looked at them and realized that they seemed to be marking some line. Indeed, as I walked around the house, I saw the distinct circle that they formed with me at the center. At first, I thought the bales were just haphazardly moved away from the house, but now I could see that they were instead being moved towards some boundary. The thing was sending me a message. I slept uneasily that night, and only because I was exhausted. The next morning, the bales hadn't moved at all. They didn't move at all for the rest of that week, in fact. They were finally where the thing had wanted them. I made myself sick trying to interpret them. Why would this thing expend so much energy moving my hay bales and threaten me with such violence should I try to interfere? Killing my horses was just that, a threat, an intelligent threat at that. It knew what would scare me, and it knew that I would understand the implications. The sound of an automobile working its way along the road to my farm one morning gave me a little rush of excitement. I'd been planning to abandon the farm since I saw the thing, but I couldn't hope to leave on foot without risking it treating me like it treated my horses. But if I could get in the car with whoever was coming my way, I might be able to escape before it could stop me. I didn't know or care who it was. I decided that the moment they stopped the car, I would jump in the passenger seat and tell them to get me the hell out of there. I didn't get the chance. The car worked its way slowly along the road, trundling across the uneven ground. I urged it silently to hurry. It was when it passed between the two bales placed on either side of the road that I began to hear a booming clatter from the woods. The thing burst suddenly from between the trees, sprinting on all fours of its terrible, gangling limbs towards the car. Within a few seconds, it was there, pouncing on the automobile like a predatory cat. Within moments, it was picking and peeling the vehicle's steel frame apart, working to get at the driver. The man, whoever he was, screamed all the while, and I could hear him even over the crunching of metal and the shattering of glass. It was only when the thing crushed him carelessly in its hand that the screaming stopped. It tossed him away and straightened up to look at me once again. In the sunlight, I could see the inhumanity of it. It was composed entirely of something awful and alive which was lashed together in a messy semblance of a human form. Whatever it was made of looked so polished and hard that if it weren't for the minute for the minute writhing of the stuff, I think it was made of granite. The thing retreated back into the woods, and I was left to my shock. My eyes wandered to where the car sat, the engine still sputtering between the two bales of hay. Bales of hay. The two bales of Suddenly, I understood. The message was clear. I am this thing's captive, and I am not allowed visitors. Nothing may cross the borders it has set. I'm trapped here by the thing that stalks the fields, and it demands nothing except that I never leave. Still, I don't know if I can handle being that thing's canary. I've been thinking hard for the last few days since I saw it crush that man's chest and silence him before he could finish his scream. If I crossed the hay bale border, it'd probably do the same. It'd smash my skull before I could put my hands up to protect myself. It'd go and find a new pet and probably keep looking until it found someone who could stand knowing that it was waiting just outside, watching it at all hours with its shiny insect eyes. I've been thinking hard for the last few days, and I might just make a run for it.
Yeah, that's the thing that stalks the fields.
I love it.
It's really good.
Excellent.
It is how do I say that? It's created by David Fueling. Thank you.
Yes.
Person.
Very, very good. I love it.
It's like one of my favorites of the class. It's like a classic almost. I think I heard it 10 plus years ago, and it just stuck with me.
It's a very, very good one. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's I don't even know what to say about it other than I just really liked it. All right, I think I'm going to start a Q&A. I don't know how to do that, but let's see what the buttons are. Okay, one of these says I can start a Q&A.
A qua, if you will.
A Q&A.
A QA. A QA.
A chihuahua.
A chihuahua. Saw a Twitter post the other day where somebody couldn't spell chihuahua. He was just like, one of those little chihuahuas, those chihuahuas, those the little nervous Mexican fellows. I petted one. It was good.
The little nervous Mexican fellows. Yes, they're good. I love them.
You have a chihuahua, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of.
Kind of?
Yeah, she's half Chihuahua.
Oh, I see now. Okay.
Yeah, so I put a question in the chat. I don't know how it works. I've never done this before, so let's see how that rolls.
You've never posted a question on the chat?
Nope. Never posted as a Q&A. There's a little button you can press that brings up a Q&A menu. I've never done that before. Also, I don't know how they interact with it. Do they click on it?
Yeah, they click on it. So,
okay.
Yeah. Normally, I would. What would you would normally put like answer choices in there, but it looks like this one here just kind of lets you ask a question.
There's a poll one as well. There's a
the poll one is the one that I'm thinking of. So what is this one? I don't understand.
It's just a question. People in the chat can ask it to us, basically.
Oh, they ask us questions. Interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
now I understand. For a second there, I was like, you're clearly asking them a question. So
Oh, you're right. I did this incorrectly. Anyways, what's your guys' favorite cryptid? Put it in the chat down below. Thank you.
Yeah,
and I'll look into different ones. I gotta look what the frog one is, because I've never heard of that one before.
The Loveland frog?
The Loveland frog, yeah.
Yeah, I
He's
actually
gonna be my
love that one.
friend.
It sounds pretty great.
Yes.
Uh,
Loveland Frog Man. Wow.
Weirdly beloved local monster legend takes the stage in a bluegrass musical. Hot diggity dog, it's the Loveland Frog.
Just for the name alone, I just love it. He's from Ohio, though? I don't know anymore. I
What's
have
wrong
some
with
friends from
Ohio?
Ohio.
Oh,
I've never
okay.
been, so, you know. I don't know.
Yes.
Ohio's cool, right? So I hear. I don't know.
I
What was that
see
mean about Ohio?
I see Spring Heel Jack was dropped into the chat. Spring Heel Jack was kind of a cryptid. Like a serial assaulter, I should say, that would like slash at people with his sharpened claws. But then he would like bounce away. Like he apparently jumped really really high, so people like in England, because I think it was an English cryptid, it started referring to him as Spring Heel Jack
Yeah, he
because
also
of how
shot
high he
fire.
could jump. He also shot fire? No way.
Yeah, he shot fire. He's in my. So I have a book on cryptids, and he's one of them in there. And he
Very
shoots
cool.
fire, and he also stabs women. Less
Jeez.
cool, but he did.
Yeah, that's not so cool, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta like breathe fire at a girl, and then if she doesn't accept you, you just stab her. That's gonna take it out of context.
I-
Don't stab women or men or anything at all. Don't stab things.
oh my gosh.
If you can breathe fire, though, please do that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I'm trying to find. There was this one about. Shoot, I'm looking through the Wikipedia now. I'm trying, and like we gotta mention like Champy and the Loch Ness monster and a cryptid thing, right? Because they're so similar, like the Lake Champlain monster of
Yeah.
North America and the Loch Ness monster of Loch Ness. Uh,
It's in I was gonna say the UK, but it's technically Scotland.
Scotland.
So I've never been to Lake Champlain, but I've been to Loch Ness, and it is beautiful.
Have you? Very cool.
I've been to Scotland once for a month while
When
I
you think
was
about it, we can.
indentured. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say when you really think about it, we can drop Ogopogo into that same category. So, just like a lake serpent, kind of like a. Aha! Here's the one that I was looking for. So, Sacrow, tell me something. When I say
Okay.
the words alien big cats, what comes to mind?
Alien big cats. The first thing I think
Also,
of is Lion-O from whatever that show was called.
from
I can't remember.
Thundercats.
From
Oh Lord.
Thundercats, yeah. I don't know why, but he's a big alien cat, I guess.
So this one threw me for a loop whenever I first read about it, because I heard alien big cats, and in my mind, the coolest thing showed up. So I'm like, oh, so these are like cats, but from like outer space. This is great. This is fantastic. Also known as phantom cats, sounds even cooler. Like, oh well, they're ghosts. They're ghosts, and they're aliens, and they're from space. You can't beat this. However, alien big cats is a phenomenon seen in Britain, where big cats are where they shouldn't be. So what I mean
Okay.
by big cats isn't like like Missy
Yeah.
or whatever got loose, right? Like a house cat that's just really really chonky. What I mean is there's panthers and cheetahs in Britain to where they're not native, right? And it's like people will spot them, but then whenever the authorities get involved trying to go find them, they never find any trace of them. It's been so it's just kind of like, well, these phantom cats are always showing up, just mysteriously somewhere where they don't belong. But at the same time, it could also be like, well, there's probably some rich guy who just wanted to own a Bengal tiger as a pet, and then
That's
the
me.
Bengal tiger escaped.
If I
And
was
that's
rich
what you
and I
saw.
could. Did you know in Indiana, you can own any animal, wild or not, as long as you let your neighbors know?
Really?
Yeah, there's like you can. Well, people don't really do it, but you can own like cheetahs and like leopards and bears in Indiana. You just gotta let them know. So keep that
Huh.
in mind if you ever want to move to
I had
Indiana. I don't know why you
I have a
would,
friend
but
who lives in Indiana. I'm gonna ask him.
me too.
I have
Uh,
two friends who live in Indiana. I'm gonna message them and be like, hey, can you guys legally own like I don't know anacondas or something?
my friend moved there for the lax gun laws, and that's about it.
I live in Texas, but it's like what gun laws?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Texas and Indiana, same thing.
I live here with PvP enabled, baby.
Not enabled, but preferred.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's pretty wild. It's the Wild West over here still.
let's check some of the chat. Let's see. Should that best of? I can't read that because my stupid heart symbol's in the way. Should add the Beast of Exmoor or Exmoon to the
Beast
cryptid
of
big cat
Exmoor.
list. I never heard of that
think
one.
I've heard of this one. Let me see. I'll pull it up. The Beast
Yeah.
of Exmoor.
Superman versus Nightcrawlers. Oh wait, I'm reading these incorrectly because he's talking about Kryptons, like Kryptonians. Listen,
Ah!
I'm a big fan of DC comics. Well, DC, I guess, if we want to talk DC stuff. But Superman would probably beat all cryptids, specifically Nightcrawlers.
Superman
Though.
is my boy in DC Comics. He's my absolute favorite. Well, him and Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis, except no substitutes.
I 100%. I knew as soon as you started saying your characters, I'm like, okay, he's gonna like Superman, but it's gonna be like Batman, but not Batman. It's gonna be one of the other ones. And the first
Yeah.
thing I thought of was it's got to be Terry, right?
It's Terry. Terry
It's
is
Terry,
my
yeah.
favorite Batman. Yes, it's so good.
Yeah.
Mostly because he's Batman, but like with Spider-Man's personality, it's pretty great.
That is true. I never even thought about that.
Right?
He's also like a clone of Bruce Wayne or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like
Kind
oh
of.
man, not like a clone, but like his biological son by leaping through hoops of
Yeah.
logic and biology.
I read
so,
that, yeah. Or watched this show or something. Can't remember if it's from the
So-
comics or from the show itself.
So they were talking about the Beast of Exmoor in the chat, and the Beast of Exmoor pretty much falls into the ABCs, the alien big cats category. It is a large cat-like creature reportedly responsible for the killing of many farm animals in South Molton, Devonshire, England. So it is one of those.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it's literally just a big cat that was seen in places where big cats shouldn't exist.
Correct.
I like that though. I kind of like I like the concept of it because it's an actual like real thing that could exist.
Yeah, like how did this jaguar get here? We don't know, but here it is.
He's here and he's chilling. He's eating cat
And
food.
I don't know that he's chilling if he's attacking livestock, but okay.
Well, he's chilling. The livestock isn't chilling.
Oh no, their livestock has zero chill at this point.
Yeah, they're being devoured alive. So
Yeah.
you posted
Oh,
the
Lord.
this exploration to my Discord. Okay, let me check.
Neat.
Which one is it? It must be in the big chats.
In the
General?
big chats.
In 1972 West Point Military Academy in New York, a cadet and his roommate were in their dorm room when a ghost soldier manifested. While in bed, both the cadet, named Jim, and his roommate, Victor, began to notice the air temperature dropping rapidly. As they both looked at the radiator, they saw the man dressed in old Civil War soldier's garb hovering above. They both noted that it had blazing white eyes. It's not red or black. A few days prior, Jim had taken a shower and similarly felt the room turn cold, though this time nothing appeared. His hanging bathrobe, which was swinging, however, froze in place as soon as the temperature dropped and resumed movement with the freezing subsided. Victor would later see the ghost in the same latrine sitting on a toilet seat before disappearing. After both encounters, Jim and Victor complained to their skeptical superior named Freely, who decided to sleep in the room with them to prove them wrong. Well, that's a good leader. That's some good leadership
no
right there.
kidding. I'm about to show you guys where you're mistaken.
He pulls out a little tent, pops it in the middle of the room, and says, "We're sleeping right now." To put on my air
probably
music.
crazy. This sounds to me like an episode of Regular Show.
I'd watch this. I loved Regular Show.
Regular Show's so great.
In the middle of the night, Frilly woke up to find the ghost laying on his chest, staring into his eyes. Again, a pure white blaze. He could not get up, nor could he shout, and he was only saved when Jim woke up and leapt towards the ghost. After that, upperclassmen cadets were assigned to sleep in the room with them in case the ghost never ever came back. And these upperclassmen reported having been suffocated too. The room the encounters happened in is 4714 of the North Barracks, and even today, nobody's allowed to sleep in that room. By that I mean it's been converted into a storage room. That makes more sense. And no longer houses cadets as a dorm. There are no other ghost stories from the military academy at West Point, but this one is the most famous. Thank you. That's actually really cool. Also, welcome to the server. I gotta say hi. And then add you to the community group. There you go. That's a cool story, actually. Thank you. I love ghost stories. I will read ghost stories all day, every day.
Yeah, no,
and
seriously.
I was also in the military.
Excellent. So you are familiar with this kind of situation. I recognized right away whenever you said that's a good leader, because I was like, oh, because you have reference.
Yeah, my leadership would just tell me to piss off, you know. Like, oh, there's a ghost in your room? Yeah, we'll be here at 6 a.m. for a muster. Thanks. Like, okay. But I can just imagine like a Navy chief walking in there and being like, okay, I'm putting a tent in the middle of the room. No one wake me. I'm putting on my CPAP machine, and we're going to listen to the wave sounds on your TV, and we're sleeping. And then, like, you know, the ghost shows up and starts strangling him, and he's like, you know what? Never mind. You guys are right. Let's get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what branch is this? It says cadets. So is that like Air Force then? Or Air Force called cadets? Hold on. Military.
I have never been in the military, so I'm the wrong guy to ask.
It's just someone undergoing training is called a cadet, but I don't think anyone uses that anymore. It says they're used in the United States Military Academy. Well, that means they're officers, so that means they're above my pay grade.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I did not have a degree when I entered, when I should have.
I was gonna say, like, what do they call them now? Ensigns? I hear that being used a lot in like Star Trek.
So ensign is okay. So if you're owned by Navy, ensign is the very first rank you are. You're an O1. You're an ensign. You have just a single gold bar. They call it a butter bar in the military because it looks like a little butter thing. Anyways, then you go to a lieutenant. You go to a, what's it called? Lieutenant something. Crap, it's been so long I'm already forgetting. Basically, there's the single yellow, or single silver, which comes after the gold bar. It's called a lieutenant something. And then you get lieutenant, which is 2. And then lieutenant commander, which is the gold star. Commander, which is a silver star. And then you get to commodore, which is a bird. And then captain. Then, no, hold on. Man, I forgot so much military stuff. I literally threw it out of my mind. I said, I'm done with this.
All
Navy.
I know is that a major outranks a captain, and I learned that from a Marvel comic. Whenever Major Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, outranked Captain America. I was like, wow.
Captain America gets outranked. Let's see. It's no, these are warrant officers. No, I'm not looking. Here we go. It is ensign, lieutenant junior grade, lieutenant commander, captain, rear admiral upper half, vice admiral, and then fleet admiral. That's what they are. Man, it's been a while since I've had to look at any of this. Also, that was Coast Guard. Where's the Navy? Wait, same thing in the Navy, right? Yeah, it's the same thing in the Navy. But yeah, so yeah, I didn't think people really called them cadets. It's an interesting name.
I learned a lot today.
Yeah, I was a petty officer, 2nd class, which is an enlisted ranking, so it doesn't matter.
I feel like, I don't know, man. Like, if I was a petty officer, I would just hold on to grudges.
We did. That's our whole job. Your whole job is to be upset about something for everyone else. But I mean, okay, so like, being a petty officer sounds bad, but before that you were a seaman, so like, I'm moving up.
Oh Lord, my sense of humor is all of 12 years old, because that's just the funniest thing to me.
All of 12 years old. All right, let's end the poll real quick and see what won.
All right,
What does
I
it
think
say?
whenever I
Oh,
clicked
Slender
on
Man.
it, Slender was ahead of the rake.
Yo, Slender Man wins. That's crazy considering. Well, I guess Slender Man's still more popular, but my Rake video got 1 million views. My Slender Man got 100,000, I think. So like, who's more popular, really?
Well, according to the poll, Slenderman. That might
Uh,
be like a sample bias, though, based on everyone who's here.
it's probably more the fact that no one talks about the Rake except for me, and then everyone talks about Slender Man. He's still super well known. So it's like
That's
more
true.
competition, you know?
Yeah, he's super popular. Very true, very true.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like the rake is creepier.
So the Rake
That's
inspired
just
Slender
me.
Man. So just saying.
Yeah, yeah, like that's something
Yeah.
to be mentioned there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see the Jersey Devil being mentioned in what do you call it in the chat. What do you know of the Jersey Devil?
I know it was born from a woman who had too many kids or something. So like her seventh kid or something was cursed.
13th or something, I believe.
13th, holy.
This was also back in colonial times when you needed more hands to, reap the tallow.
Yeah, and by the time you're just 13th, you've probably already lost 3 or 4. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I
Yeah,
heard its
so
feet were
she.
backwards when it came out, and something else.
Hmm. Yeah, like it had like a donkey snout and stuff like that, and leathery bat wings. It was wild.
Oh, how would you give birth to that? How do you give birth at all,
Uh,
actually?
it was supposedly she cursed her child whenever before it was born because she was just tired of giving birth, I guess. Which I can understand where that's coming from, but like yeah, so it was just kind of one of those things where in a moment of just like being upset, and like colonial times were just notoriously awful, so I mean just like I dealing with all the stress, she just cursed it out loud, and it was just born like that.
Wow, that's unlucky, I guess.
Yeah.
My grandma had 14 kids, but she's from Mexico and she was Catholic, so
So that's a different story.
they're not allowed to have birth control of any kind.
Right.
So yeah, my dad was like number 10 or something, or 11. Ulysses wasn't 13.
Yeah, at least not, right?
So we've been talking about cryptids and stuff. We haven't talked about any urban legends, really.
Ooh, urban legends.
Like, so there's this one that I always go to as my first one.
Mhm.
They say back in the day, if you were born with hair on your head like a baby, you were a devil child, right?
Really?
Yeah, if you were born with a whole full head of hair, that means you existed before you should have, or something. And when you came out, you're like older than you should have been, older than a baby. So there was 3 options really. You were either a devil, you were a
Mm.
werewolf, or you were some kind of cursed being, essentially. And I always found that interesting because I and many of my siblings, except for my sister, which is hilarious, were born with full heads of hair. I had a full head of hair when I came out of the hospital.
Very excellent. I love it.
So I'm cursed, a werewolf, or some sort of demon creature. So I do apologize if that comes through at some point.
I'm Googling urban legends for the state that I live in, which is Texas. And La Lechuza, which I led with, shows up as one of the top ones.
That
And
makes sense.
the other one that comes up is the Goat Man of Old Alton Bridge. Have you ever heard of Goat Man?
Yes, I have. I have a whole video on the Goat Man.
Yeah, so
Not
like
this specific one though. So go ahead.
so locally, the Copper Canyon landmark is better known as Goatman's Bridge instead of the Old Alton Bridge, and is haunted by a half-man, half-goat figure. The legend is about a black goat farmer, Oscar Washburn, who was said to have moved his family to a residence just north of the bridge in the 1930s. A few years after settling there, Washburn was dubbed the Goat Man by locals because he was considered dependable and an honest businessman. Unfortunately, the success of a black man rubbed some people the wrong way, and in August of 1938, Klansmen crossed the bridge and kidnapped Washburn from his family. The group hung a noose on the Old Alton Bridge, and the rest is pretty much exactly what you'd expect. So his
Demonetization.
yeah, so his spirit since then kind of comes back as this half goat, half man entity to kind of haunt the bridge.
Okay, and that's in Texas.
In Texas, correct.
Interesting. I've never heard of that one. Even in my research, I didn't see that one at all. There's like 15 billion Goatman stories, though. So.
No kidding. Oh, wow. This is the old. Oh, look, there's a donkey lady.
Also from Texas?
Also from Texas. The tale goes that in the mid 1800s, a family of four settled near Elm Creek in San Antonio. One day, a wealthy man from the area came past their home and started to tease a donkey the family owned. When the animal bit the man out of fear, he became enraged and started beating it severely. The husband and wife heard the cries and ran outside. Seeing one of their livestock was close to death, they started to pelt rocks at the abusive man, who yelled expletives at them before leaving. Later that evening, he and a group of other men sneaked onto the family's home and set it on fire in retaliation. They blocked the exits to make sure no one escaped. The husband was able to break through, but was immediately gunned down while he heard the screams of his wife and children, on the inside. Just as the mob was set to leave, a figure in flames stumbled out of the home. The wife, her hands had been burned severely. Her face had been also burned severely. And she let out a piercing wail and hurled herself into the creek. Her body was never found. Today, there is a Donkey Lady Bridge over Elm Creek where people have claimed to witness a creature with a donkey's face screaming at them from the window of their car, and later found hoof-like indentations on their vehicles. Legend has it, she still haunts the area and torments those who try to cross the bridge while grieving the loss of her family.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never even heard of the donkey woman.
Yeah.
That's
the way that this was written, at first I thought that she was in the car screaming at them as she drove by, and I was like, well, no, that's not right. Oh, she's screaming at them and they're inside the car. Okay, that makes more sense.
she's attacking the car. Gotcha.
Yes.
There was this one story I remember hearing about a goat man who was like just a man who dressed up like a goat and would just attack people with an axe. But I don't remember what it's called or where to find it. I've been looking it up, but I cannot find it. Axe Goatman? Maybe I should type in Axe Goatman.
Axe Goatman sounds like a good search for me.
It's the murderous axe-wielding goatman of Maryland. Here we go.
Oh, that was easy.
Oh, it's some guy's podcast. I can't read that.
Oh,
I can't read podcasts. So it's the Goatman of Maryland. Okay. Because I remember I had to do a lot of Goatman research because I made a video on Anansi's Goatman, which is like a really popular 4chan story.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of it. That one, right?
No.
Man, I had to teach you.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in these streets, bro. I was hearing creepypasta stories before I was old enough to know they were just internet stories. I thought they were like real urban legends.
Right.
They weren't.
I too remember hearing a lot of these and thinking they were real.
Like, people were just telling me things like the rake. They're like, oh, is that a cryptid? I thought it was a cryptid for the longest time. And I'm like, I don't see any sightings anywhere. There's like nothing listed online. And so eventually I figured out what creepypastas actually were. And yeah, and the rest is kind of history. And I would listen to them while watching or while playing League of Legends or whatever game I was playing at the time, which I can't remember what they were. Probably like Mass Effect 3 again.
Mass Effect was a good game.
I played through all of them like 3 times.
Yeah, no,
fun.
I barely got through the first one. I wanted to finish it because it was epic, but I just never got there.
Oh, you should. There's like a compilation. There's like an Ultimate Edition where it has all 3 games together. All right. So as far as California, because that's where I was from, there are a lot of urban legends here. This is way more than I expected. The ghost of Stowe Lake. Where's Stowe Lake at? My city's too big. Or my country. I was going to say country. My state's too big. Oh, this is just La Llorona. It's the White Lady story. Halloween sign spirit. Oh, I've heard the Halloween stuff. Or the Hollywood sign is a big thing. Okay. These ones are called the Dark Watchers. This is from Culture Trip.
I'm pretty sure I've heard of those.
I'm using them in a story I'm currently writing.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, I'm writing a story, or I'm writing a book. Not really a spoiler, I guess. I'm not gonna like uploaded anywhere or anything. Anyways, these are the Dark Watchers. This legend takes us to Santa Monica Mountains, which run from Avila Beach to Monterey. The Dark Watchers are said to be giant human-esque phantoms that lurk inside these eerie mountains. Legends go that the Dark Watchers can only be seen at twilight, as they stand at the Santa Lucia mountain tops. They've only been claimed to have been staring out into the vast space below the mountains before completely vanishing. These ghostly figures first emerged in Chumash Native American lore, and the cave walls were donned with drawings by the Chumash that depicted these phantoms. The Dark Watchers made an appearance in author John Steinbeck's story Flight, where these creatures were described as dark forms against the sky. So they're just giant beings that live amongst the trees that watch people as they make their way through the mountains and around the mountains.
I love it.
These are cool. They don't do anything but watch you, but that's so cool.
I think that in some of the Bigfoot stuff that I had mentioned earlier that I had been doing, the Dark Watchers were kind of connected a little bit. Like it's like, yeah, it's kind of like this unsettling figure in the woods that will just kind of watch you from afar.
Yeah.
They kind of like said like it's a Bigfoot, but it's also one of those things where it's like vague enough to where it's like, no, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, seeing things amongst the trees is kind of something everyone's probably done. Like I've looked at tall trees and been like, is there something over there? And it's usually nothing, obviously, but I didn't know they had a name for the longest time because, I mean, I've never even been to Santa Monica or the mountains over there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm not an outdoorsy type. I'm a city boy. So
I've lived all over, but I do like the city kind of.
Yeah.
I want to go camping.
You know what? Cities is one of those places. Cities are one of those places where a lot of urban legends happen, though.
Yeah, there's quite a few that I can think of. Even in the town that I grew up in, we had urban legends and stories and ghost stories. And there's a whole ghost hunting society in my small town that I never joined, but I should have. I should see if they're still open. They were taking resumes back when I was going to college initially, so a little while ago. Now I'm back in college, but yeah, I should see if they're still open.
Yeah,
I'll hit them up.
There was what do you call it? Paranormal society here in the town where I live that family members had to get in contact with once upon a time because we believed that one of our family members was very severely haunted.
Was that like a grandma or an aunt?
No. Yeah. Like it was it wasn't a grandma, it wasn't an elderly person, like in their 40s at the time.
Okay, not old, but yeah, gotcha.
Not old, but she was seeing some things, and it was just kind of like, oh, well, are you in your right mind? And so we went through the gamut, right? Okay,
yeah.
There's no drugs, there's no alcohol, there's no substances, and you're seeing these things. Are you mentally healthy? Like like we went to like to a neurologist, all this stuff, and like, hey, yeah, everything seems fine. So why are you seeing these things? So she heard on a podcast about this what do you call it, paranormal society that lives here in the city where we live, and that they had helped a family who was experiencing similar things. So she reached out to them to just kind of come to the house. And after that, I don't remember what happened, but I was never informed of, as to what happened. But it's a thing that happened once upon a time.
I do remember reading your story. Does that affect that story you wrote at all? Is it like kind
Which
of an
story
idea? The one about the priest who punches things?
Oh no, absolutely not.
I want to read the rest of that, by the way. I need more.
No, yeah, one of these days I'll finish writing it.
Please do. And the name alone makes me want to pick it up off of bookshelves. So. My book is very serious, very interestingly not funnily named, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, as you know me, I'm a huge fan of puns and of smart aleck characters. That, as a matter of fact, the trickster heroes are my favorite type of heroes. You know, like the guys who aren't exactly strong, but they'll trick you into undoing yourself. You
So
know,
like
so
Loki, kind of like from the MCU.
like I was thinking more like Spider-Man, but like
Spider-Man will
Spider-Man's
overpower you though for sure.
yeah, Spider-Man can, but a lot of the times he's in situations where he should not be. You know, like what was it? Whatever he was fighting Phoenix Force Magic and Phoenix Force. I think it was Colossus. I don't remember whom. And
Mm.
it's like, okay, Spider-Man versus the Phoenix Force. He should realistically not win, but he's kind of a smart aleck and a tricky guy, and he convinced them to defeat each other. And it's just kind of like, yeah. Or my absolute favorite trickster hero of all time, Bugs Bunny. Like
Yes, Bugs Bunny, the
Bugs
best
Bunny will
trickster
trick
hero.
you into tripping over yourself. Like that is my kind of character. So
Bro,
I'm
he
like,
will.
this is the
Bugs Bunny would go into drag. You will marry him. He'll break your heart, and that's how he defeats you. Like Bugs Bunny is the guy. You know.
yeah.
Did you ever play that? Oh, we're getting way off topic again. But did you ever play that WB fighting game, like multiverses?
Oh, I know the one that you're talking about, but no, I did not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have my mic again. But anyways, multiverses is a game that takes a bunch of WB characters and puts them fighting each other, and you can play as Bugs Bunny, and his moveset is stupid but funny. You know. Anyways, we gotta play that when it comes back out.
Yeah, 100%. All I remember is like clips of Shaggy fighting Batman, and I was like, what is happening?
I mean, Batman wins these. Superman also gets to fight like Harley Quinn and stuff, but Harley Quinn's moveset's good. I learned all of her combos, and then kind of forgot them. But yeah, a good game. Do
Yeah.
you have any local urban legends in your town?
Yes,
Your
there
town's
was
bigger than mine, so.
oh, my town is huge,
Yeah.
and there is several. As a matter of fact, there is a restaurant whose name I cannot say because it'll just right away tell everyone exactly where I live. But it's a restaurant that has been abandoned for quite some time, and it is known here in the city as one of the most haunted places. As a matter of fact, there has been several paranormal investigators who have gone to spend the night at said restaurant, which uh, I don't know. It's kind of been left. Just nobody goes there. It sits on its lot, but I don't know what happens there. All I know is that it's supposedly like, yeah, the amount of readings we get in this place is insane. It is
So
just ridiculous.
is there like a explanation behind it? Like someone died there, or did they just kind of became haunted?
As far as I know, there isn't an explanation as if somebody died there. What I understand from it is that back when it was open, there was a fire, and the fire something happened after that fire. I don't know if somebody died or not, but whenever they tried to rebuild, the place was just haunted as hell. So I don't know what all happened there, but I that's up to speculation.
Okay.
There is also there is several old towns. This city is weird because it's got a big central hub where it's a very modern city, and it's kind of got these satellite cities, which are smaller cities that but still part of the big
They're still part of the
hub.
big city. Yeah, yeah.
Right. And
Like LA has a million of
there's
those.
yeah, and a lot of them are very old, very historic, and haven't been touched in a long time, right? And because of that, there's a lot of places there that have this history of like, there was people here during the Civil War, or during all these times when plagues hit, et cetera, et cetera, before modern times, and there's just a lot of people dying, right? And you can still see their ghosts haunting the places where they lived. There was a cemetery that's on the side of the highway. Like literally, there is a highway, and then like on the side of the highway, there's just like this small patch of grass where there's tombstones on it, and they're like, yeah, this is where a very important family in the history of this town was once is buried, and their spirits still haunt the place. And I'm like, the place is in the highway, or the place is in the small patch of grass?
The small patch of grass, clearly.
Clearly. And lastly, whenever I went to college probably about hour and a half north of where the city where I live in is. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, the thing about Texas is between cities there is nothing
Oh,
but
I've been to
flat
Texas. I know.
farmlands. It
And you can
is
go
empty,
45,
man. It
or
is empty.
you can go like 45
So
minutes without seeing another person. It's great.
yeah, you can go long periods of time without seeing any sign of life. It's incredible. Uh, but so I would drive about an hour and a half north of my city to go to college, and the college was kind of a big prison town, you know,
A prison,
and
wait, a prison town. Hold on a second. Explain that to me.
so there was a university built in
Mm,
the town where I went to, like that's where the university, right, is in the town, but the
right,
town
right.
was also home to a huge prison.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so this prison is one of the only ones, it's one that still practices the capital punishment, the penalty, the
The
one that
death
we don't talk
penalty.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
I
So
know one.
they have like a museum where they have like the first electric chair that they ever used, all that.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. That'd be kind of cool to look at. Scary, but
and
cool.
while I was there attending college, there was an inmate who was executed. So, there's all kinds of stories surrounding the prison and also this road, which was off of the beaten path, where it's like, yeah, I don't even remember. They had like a colorful name for it. I think they called it like Demon Road or something.
Nice.
But yeah, yeah. So like it was like, yeah, you don't. There's this urban legend that you go there, and while you're driving it, you turn off your headlights. And I'm like, I don't think I would do that in the middle of like an old country road, like with no lighting, nothing. But like, yeah, you turn off your headlights, and like you'll see something. And I'm like, I don't think you'll see anything. There's no street lamps, nothing. It's just a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. What are you gonna see? Uh, but yeah, that's something that apparently my wife at the time, because she went to the same university as me, she went with one of her friends to that, and she says like, oh, it was creepy, but that's mostly because it was dark.
Yeah, man, dark is literally all you need to be creepy. I could
Yeah.
be in the most beautiful city, but it's at night and just completely creepy all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't think I actually have too. So I've lived in like 3 towns that are all semi close to each other for the entirety of my life until I joined the military, and then I lived in like too many places to list. But there's a theater here where I live currently that is supposedly haunted, and I don't know what it is with theaters and being like really superstitious, like
Mm-hmm.
theater people. I mean, you know, right? You're an actor,
No,
so
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
you know there's some superstitions to a lot of the stuff they do. Um,
Oh yeah, I said Macbeth one time at an audition, and you should have seen everybody almost kicked me out. It was like, whoa, 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 I was kidding.
Yeah, the Macbeth legend is something that still perpetuates to this day, even in like online stuff, like people doing voice acting.
Yeah.
No mention, don't mention it, don't say it. And so the theater here is supposed to be haunted, um, and that society I was telling you about, the one that like investigates ghosts, have been there a few times and they've caught stuff. And I don't even know if their videos are on YouTube or anything. I have to look,
Mhm.
but I always wanted to go there. I'm supposed to be going there soon, anyways, because where my acting class is going to be. Because your
Mhm.
boy's finally taking some acting classes.
Hell yeah, do it.
We'll see if I'm any good at it, but I just want to be a voice actor. Come on, that's it. But regular acting supposed to get you there. But the legend was always about where the rafters are, where people would like let down signs and this and that, and just put up decorations basically. And there's a thing saying that during a play, someone's shown lights up there, and you can see the bodies, supposedly, of 3 men or women, whatever, 3 people hanging from the rafters. And
Ooh.
as far as we know, nobody's passed away there. And it's just become like this paranormal hotspot in all of my town, which happens to be downtown. So like it gets a lot of traffic during Halloween. Like people go through there all the time, and that's like the big thing for the town. Is just the rafters of the old um, theater. Sorry,
Mhm.
they do like
Yeah.
classic shows there and stuff.
Well, firstly, I am proud of you for going to acting school. That
Thank
is
you.
exciting. Yeah,
I'm
as a matter of
excited.
fact, I took off work today so I could attend an acting class. So, that's something. But additionally, yes, theaters for some reason are some of the most superstitious places I have ever set foot in. Like ridiculously so. There's something about like, oh, well, you always leave a light on, or you never say the play's name, or whenever you leave before you lock the door, make sure you say goodbye to the old janitor who worked there so long ago, whose
There's
spirit we still see.
yeah, there's literally a story about 3 chairs who are never given to anybody. They're just kept there for the ghosts to attend because if they don't leave them open, something bad happens. Supposedly,
Yeah,
like the play goes bad or people don't show up or whatever. So that's
right.
still a thing. Very much
Yeah.
so.
The superstitions, man, it's wild. Back where my parents come from, there was this superstition that if somebody died, you had to do two things. You had to make sure that the window was open so that their soul could leave, but
Hmm.
additionally, you had to cover mirrors so that way their soul wouldn't become trapped in the mirror.
That's kind
So
of cool.
yeah, there was like all of this stuff that we would do. It was pretty wild. But where my parents come from, also there was like medicine men still. Like I don't know if I ever told you
Oh,
the story, but
you did not.
but there was once upon a time when I was visiting the homeland, and I was fairly young at the time, and they had like these rolling blackouts, and during the rolling blackouts, what's it called? They would just kind of collectively as a community come out into the quad, I guess. I don't know what you would call it. It's the area where everybody socialized, right? It's
Is
this
it in one
dirt
building?
lot.
Oh, it's a
No,
lot.
no, 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 no. Yeah, so it's just like this dirt lot around the neighborhood, right? So everybody would come there and they would just burn their trash to create a bonfire so that they would have some light for the
Burning
night, right?
trash, though.
Right. So
Yeah. Okay. Good.
somebody threw out like an old plastic bucket, right? And so the kids, being kids in a third world country, are over here just poking at the bucket. And this one kid decides to poke it with his shoe. And like whenever he pokes it with his shoe, the plastic gets kind of like molded onto his foot, and he keeps trying to kick it off. At the time, I was very young, and I was completely clueless as to what was going on. So I got too close, and he managed to get rid of the burning plastic on his shoe by kicking me in the leg.
Uh,
At which point, the plastic welded onto my leg, or yeah, so it just like seared itself on there, right? Um, it was extremely painful, and it burned for days. And my grandma had been very well meaning, so what she did is she applied some home remedies onto my leg. But after a couple of days, everyone was like, wow, that wound smells bad. So they took me to the medicine man, and the medicine man was a
yeah.
lady. So the medicine lady, and she looks at my leg and she says, "Well, that's gangrene, so that leg needs to come off." And I'm like,
Uh,
"Oh," and like I'm all of maybe 8 years old at this time, so I was like, "Oh no." And then she says, "Okay." And then of course, my parents are like, "No, no, the leg, no, absolutely not." So she says, "Okay, well, we're gonna do some medicine man things, and this is not gonna be pleasant." And I was like, okay, well, I mean,
rather
what can we
that
do?
than lose a leg, right?
Again, third world country. So the medicine man thing involves no anesthesia whatsoever, just her two big burly sons who were in high school, and I was an elementary schooler, holding me down while this woman methodically ripped apart all of the dead flesh from my leg.
Huh.
Uh, it was a long process. There was chanting. There was
There's got to be
fire.
chanting and fire.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
there was fire. It was weird. I was like, this is the reason why I'm here is because of a fire. I don't know why there's got to be more fire. So she goes through and she rips off every piece of infected flesh. And then, like in some weird way, just kind of like ties it in like a little burlap bag and then casts it into the fire and then does more chanting, applies some manner of salve on my leg. And here I am many, many decades later, and I just have a really, really cool scar in the shape of Australia.
Nice, Australia. Could have been worse.
I know. It was pretty wild.
That's kind of crazy, actually. Like you
Oh,
got
dude,
gangrene, and then the medicine man said, "Yeah, bro, I got you. Hold on a second."
like, bruh, I got you. Like, it's wild. I mean, like, yeah.
That's the wildest story I've heard today.
Oh, I need to
Well,
tell
today,
you
at
sometime. I was about to say, like, if you think that's wild, I should tell you of that one time I took my wife to an exorcism for a date.
And she stayed with you? That's impressive.
Surprisingly, yes. I was like, wait.
Like I've tried to go on many trips and it just never anywhere. I wanted to go. So for my birthday, I was like, hey friends, let's all go to a let's go do like a haunted like ghost thing. There's a ghost adventure you can do here in my town where they'll let you borrow or rent some equipment out and you can go to like one of the local graveyards and like, you know, poke around in specific areas and see if you can get readings and whatnot. My friends all said no immediately. We were playing Phasmophobia for my birthday last year, I want to say, and none of them wanted to go with me. They're like, nope, not even gonna go out there, not even gonna, because two of my friends believe in that that's bad. It's bad luck, you know. You don't just walk into a graveyard and start questioning the ghosts about why they're there. Like that's where they live, and so they just wouldn't. They just never want to go with me. So this year instead, we're going to an arcade for my birthday, which is next week.
It surprises me so much that like you live in California, but you told me you'd never been to the Winchester House.
No, that's very far south from where I used to live.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I think. Hold on, is that in San Jose?
It's in San Jose.
Okay, yeah, because it's not that far then. It's like a good hour and a half away, which is not actually that far now I think about it. Why have I never been to the Winchester House?
Yeah, why have you? Dude, I've been to the Winchester House and I live in Texas. Come on.
That's true. You're right. I should go. How much are tickets? Mansion tour? Yeah, let's do the mansion tour. Let's book this. Hold on. When are you coming to California next year? They're booked out?
Yeah, they book out pretty far in advance. You kind of have to, yeah.
Oh, here we go. June's available. Oh, it's hot in June though. It's hot in July
it's
too.
It's very, very hot in June. Yes.
Okay, we'll do 2 days. Saturday to Sunday. $40 a night. That's not bad.
It's not terrible. It's actually pretty reasonable.
Oh, okay. I should go. Oh, it's $45 based on the color green it is. Depends on what the price will be. Why is it booked out through summer though? Why is summer so expensive? Oh, October obviously isn't going to happen. That's going to be.
No, absolutely not.
No.
But I guess it's because it's a vacation spot, and like I went
San Jose's pretty.
I went during COVID, so like everybody still had their masks, and it was kind of one of those.
Here. It is California after all.
Yeah, I've been wearing my mask recently because of my cold. I just feel like it's a courtesy,
Yeah, I wear mine if I ever get sick too.
Yeah, like I don't want to get anybody sick, but yeah, sorry. Like it was just kind of empty during COVID. Like when we went there, it was just like
Like, were you guys from Texas? That makes sense.
Pretty sweet though. It was wild.
Yeah, I was telling you to come down for the anime convention. Maybe we should go to like one of the cool places to hang out, the Winchester House, or I don't know, somewhere very far south from where I live, because I live more in the northern side of California. I like to say I live in the Sac area, but I mean Sacramento is massive, and there's like 15 towns around Sacramento, so I could be from any of those towns. So good luck. My town's kind of boring though. There's like 3, 4, 5. Well, there's like 12 Asian restaurants, but there's like 2 good ones. So. Million restaurants.
I was, I'm noticing that somebody said arbitrary in the chat is saying that they would have absolutely gone with you to like the renting your equipment and going into a graveyard thing.
Oh, I wish I should do a stream of that. That would have been so fun.
Absolutely. And I'm reminded that we did a ghost tour here in one of the historic towns that I mentioned. And it was funny because we had like this tour guide who took us through all the houses and was like, oh yeah, this is what happened here, and this is the ghost that we suspect we still see, and this is the haunted graveyard, and this is where people are said to rise at midnight, and so on and so forth. And One of the most hilarious things that happened, I mean, okay, so this isn't hilarious as in this is funny. This is hilarious as in, like when you really stop to think about it, this makes sense though, because our
Yeah.
tour guide was like in her 90s. And
She's about to
so,
become a ghost, bro.
yeah, so here's what happened. So, we took the tour, and then like a couple of weeks after we took the tour, she died.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, I was literally right. My bad.
and it's
Rest in
it's funny
peace.
because the people that I went with were like, "Oh, isn't that so creepy? We took a ghost tour and she died." I was like, "Well, she's also 90s, so."
She was ready to go. She was like, I need this specific person to show up so I can die after he leaves.
Right. I was like, this isn't. I'm like, this isn't a creepy thing. This is just like it was gonna happen sooner or later. It just so
Yeah.
happened.
Hello, welcome
uh,
to chat. And
mhm.
yeah, I feel like if you do go to a cemetery and do like try to speak to them, they might follow you home. And to be fair, like I have a lot of cats and they would probably freak out about that. So I don't think I need a spirit in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
cats just don't like those. My cats already just randomly stare at the ceiling and their eyes get all wide and stuff. And they do that like 3 times a day. This house was built in 2018. Like there's no way there's a ghost living here.
Yeah. My
I live in a
cat's
neighborhood.
kitten, so all I got is zoomies all day. Zoom zoom.
Just so you know, depending on the cat that you have, that never goes away.
Uh,
What kind of
okay.
cat is she? Is she orange, or are they orange calico, like
Uh,
mixed
a,
looking?
a tabby, I guess. I don't know. It's got tabby
Orange tabby
patterns,
or black tabby?
like one of those gray-looking ones.
Gray tabby. Okay, you might be okay, but tabbies are known for being a little extra. So
Jeez.
that's all I can say for that. I love my cats, but they're monsters sometimes. One of them peed
Yeah.
on the outside of the litter box yesterday, and so I had to clean up the whole thing and throw out the litter and refill it. And it's just stuff you do.
I'm actually kind of thinking about this because I see Emily talked about like the spirits in the graveyard that follow you home. I have a friend who had that happen, but not in the way that you would think. You see, the year was 2017, and Pokemon Go was the hottest game that anyone could play. And Pokestops were kind of difficult to find here in the city because, as you know, it's Texas, so everything's just super far away from itself, right?
I see that, yeah.
However, my friend on the way home discovered that there was a gazebo in the local cemetery that had a Pokestop.
I
So
think I remember you telling me this story.
every day on his way home, he would just park at the cemetery and spin the Pokestop to get himself Pokeballs and other items that he could use on his Pokemon, and also put a Pokemon on the gym on the Saint Michael statue that was in the cemetery as well. Uh, so several times, like security had to come and tell him, "All right, sir, we're about to close the cemetery. You gotta leave." So the spirits that would follow him home were the Ghastly, the Haunter, and the Gengar that he would catch all the time.
There better be just ghost Pokemon at the graveyard, or else I'm not interested. You know.
Oh Lord, yeah,
Ra-
it was insanity.
Unrelated question, I guess kind of related. If you were a Pokemon gym trainer, what would your type be?
Oh, knowing myself, probably fighting.
Fighting. That makes sense. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I have a huge martial arts background, and I gravitate towards a cool fighting type. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, hey, things like Machamp, I dig that. Lucario, super cool. Like Blaziken, Infernape, oh yeah, let's go. Just hit me with the
Infernape.
fighting types, baby. Yeah.
Okay, no, nothing wrong with Fernape. Sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to say it so
Mhm.
so meanly sounding. Nothing wrong with Infernape. What was I gonna say? I already forgot. Why did my sound just? Oh, there
What
it
would
goes.
your type be? I guess is what you were gonna say.
Psychic or Ghost are the two that I'd probably gravitate towards because I had the biggest crush on Sabrina as a kid. Sorry, and she did ghosts, so ghost types were my thing. Not because of her specifically, but also yes,
Yeah.
because of her. And then my favorite Pokemon for a long time was Gardevoir, which is a psychic type. Now it's Psychic Fairy.
Now it's a fairy.
Yeah, because I had my first ever shiny was a Gardevoir that I accidentally caught in Emerald back when I was a kid, and so it just became my favorite automatically. And it sucks
No,
because people see your Gardevoir's your favorite Pokemon, and they're like, "Oh, you're a pervert." So it's like, no, I promise. It's just coincidence. My bad.
Oh, I know the answer to this one. What is the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard? Apparently, one of them is a church, is attached to a church. I don't. I think it's the graveyard. I think a graveyard is a cemetery that is attached to a church, whereas the cemetery is just a cemetery.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. I always used them interchangeably, so I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, because they used to be called kirkyards or church yards, eventually
Church
becoming
yards.
graveyards. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I know the answer to this one just tangentially because I am like Wan Chi Tonk, he who knows 10,000 things.
Sometimes I know things. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're not. We'll find out later.
Yes, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not, but I'm always in the ballpark. It's
In the ballpark, it's one way or the other.
Mhm.
I don't really. Yeah, I didn't know that, but I now want to go on a ghost hunting tour. When I was in Florida, we had one down in St. Augustine, which is like the oldest town in America, or one of the oldest towns in America. And they had a beer crawl you could do from like 6 different bars, and they tell you ghost stories during your beer crawl while you're in a cart, and they're taking you from place to place. And I never got to do it because I was always busy in October.
Mm.
Because October was the time frame where the military exercises would pick up for my specific command, and then we'd have to sit down and pretend like we were doing something for a couple weeks on end. I was also deployed during it once, so yes, I missed the beer crawl. But that's okay. I don't really drink, but the ghost stories would have been
Did-
cool.
Yeah, the ghost stories would have been really, really cool.
Now I just want to do a ghost story stream. All right, next stream is gonna be ghost stories only, the anime, not actual ghost stories.
Oh God.
we're just gonna watch that on repeat and see how long it takes me to get demonetized.
Oh Lord, like literally immediately.
Dude, ghost stories is like unrelated again, but it was great.
It was pretty fantastic. I loved it.
Um,
I
Yeah.
watched it just for the lulls, and I was like not disappointed. I was like, this is excellent.
there were so many jokes where I felt bad laughing at them, but then I was like 19 when I found out
Yeah.
the show existed. So
It's like really lowbrow humor. So I mean, like, yeah, but the thing about it is, like just the story behind it. It's like, hey, you guys were given no direction, no supervision, nothing. So they're like, okay, what if we just really start messing with the script? Let's see how much we can change before anybody stops us. And nobody ever did. So
no, which is weird. There was like this old rumor too that the original Ghost Stories did really poorly in Japan, and that's why they got to do whatever they wanted with it. But that was wrong. Apparently, it did fine in Japan. They just when
Yeah.
they got the rights to it, they're just like, we're not gonna change anything. You guys can do whatever you want with the story. And they're like, okay. And then they made it. They basically made it like a YouTube poop slash what do you call it? A bridge series out of it, and it was great.
the original abridged series, and it was an official thing.
It was an official abridged series, and I love it. So, yeah. Oh, there's a subscriber up here I forgot to mention. Thank you for subscribing, Magic725. Glad to have you here.
Mhm.
And, yeah, I gotta go to the graveyard soon. I gotta say hi to my ghoulies. Ghosts and
Okay,
ghoulies.
so the graveyard is indeed attached to a church. Okay, good to know that I was in the right ballpark.
Hey, wait, you were right. That's what you said.
100%.
Yeah, you did it. Yeah.
Woo!
I didn't know that, so that's cool. That's fun for me. Now I get to learn
Mhm.
things during this stream. Other than the fact that you apparently had something sewn to your leg by accident with fire.
Oh, the plastic is still there.
Oh, it's not gone.
No, the plastic is not gone. It is still on my leg. It is in fact the thing that makes the shape of Australia.
I would ask for a picture, but I don't know if I want to see it. But I kind of
Oh,
do want to
it's-
see it.
It's not gross, like it's just like it's very noticeable that this is not skin. Like it's just like if ever I'm like in swim trunks or whatever, right? Like people will be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's a weird patch of skin," and I was like, "Oh, they see it's not skin at all. If you run your fingers over it, it is plastic
I'm actually
that
a
is
part
just-
robot.
that is just welded onto my leg. It is incredible."
That sounds. I mean, it's a very interesting not idea that actually happened to you. It's a very interesting incident to happen. That it makes you very interesting as a person, I suppose.
Oh, it was super painful at the time, but
Well, you're 8 years old and you had. I mean, when I was 9 years old, I got hit by a car and I have a permanent scar on the side of my body. It's like up against
Also
my like
not
ab
pleasant.
lining.
Holy cow.
No, I
Yikes.
was like a car smashed into me and it sent the side of the oops, like the handlebars of my bike smashed into my side as my head went through the side window.
Oof.
And yeah, I almost died, but I didn't, so that's cool.
Well, I'm happy you didn't.
Or I'm secretly dead now, and you guys are all just watching a ghost that somehow aged through life. That's
It's kind of an it could go back to the thing about you having a full head of hair as a newborn.
I'm not meant to die until I'm meant to die. That's what it meant.
Yeah, it's
I'm
exactly.
meant to, I have to do something really evil first, and then I can die. So whatever that is, we're still working on it.
There's a story in there somewhere.
The story is very, very much that I didn't die, and I didn't sue the lady either. So I didn't sue her. I was 9, but my parents didn't sue her.
No. Like I'm saying, like that's the story. Is like oh this is how demons are born. They're born into human bodies, but then they don't become demons until they do something really evil. So if they live their whole life, benevolently, they never become one. But the moment they do something really heinous, oh boy, and then they die, and then they come back as the spirit. And I'm just kind of like spitballing here, but yeah,
I actually like that. I like that a lot.
Story plot.
It's like it's like how people say there's like a switch in your head that gets flipped. Like a lot of serial killers will say this, right? Where they do something eventually, like that, either hurt somebody or kill an animal or something, and a switch in their head just flips on, and all of a sudden they're like, I have to do this more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like that idea, Well, not
like the first time that I liked spicy food. It's like, whoa, I can never go back to plain food.
Yeah, spicy is kind of the spice of my choice as well, or my spice of life. We made curry today, and it was less spicy than I would have liked, but it was still pretty spicy.
What a coincidence.
Did you also make curry today?
Yes, we did.
We made a Thai curry with chicken, carrots, some other nonsense. It was really good.
No, we made the Japanese style curry.
Okay, well that's still good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Thai, Indian, Japanese, they're all curries and they're all good.
They're all curries. It's pretty great.
Yeah,
it was delicious.
Let's see, that's how adrenaline works. Which part of adrenaline? Sorry.
Oh, that you got hit by the car and you survived.
Oh, adrenaline saved my life. That's nice of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't meant to die yet. That's what I'm thinking. How hot was the curry? It wasn't. I mean, it was spicy, but it wasn't like super spicy. We put like these little we did Thai pepper flakes, and we did fish oil little peppers. They burn the back of your throat, but if you just like mix it with food well enough, it is not too spicy. But I wish it was more spicy, honestly. You love how most of the stream has been a podcast? Yes. We're starting a podcast. This is a stream podcast. I've tricked Bard into becoming my podcast member. Now we're searching for a third.
I asked you politely to become a part of mine, so I mean, like, this is just what we're doing now, I guess.
Look for this on all your podcasting. I don't know what do you upload podcasts on? I know there's a YouTube section for podcasts.
There is a YouTube section for podcasts. I upload mine to an RSS feed, and then that like distributes it to like Amazon Music and to Spotify and to the rest.
Oh, that's cool. I should try that. I always wanted to start a podcast. I just never knew what to do except for like obviously horror stuff because like all I do. Mm. I love horror, but
same. I mean, like that's how I got my start. Is with horror, and then I was like, yeah. The thing about horror is I like it, but sometimes I just want to talk about anime. So like my podcast was just like an anime thing that I was just like, this is just what I was meant to do, I guess. So
I definitely have a podcast style to my content. So a lot of people say they like to listen to my content and fall asleep. Oh, by the way, I did mention to my chat a while ago that I was starting a gaming channel, and that's with Bard actually, and one of our other friends from Helix. So we will be doing that in probably a couple weeks whenever I get those videos or whenever I get the videos back from the editor.
There would be a lot of fun to be had watching us be bad at video games.
We are pretty bad, but that's the fun part.
Yeah, and also, what's it called? Some fun things with us doing visual novels.
We have a lot of visual novels. Well, two so far. which is
Yeah,
a
we
lot
have two
considering we have
visual
like
novels so far.
4 games we played.
Yeah, we played 4 games, so exactly 50% of the content recorded thus far is a visual novel.
So I hope you guys like visual novels. I also want to play some old PC games, but we'll get around to that eventually.
Hmm.
Let's see. Had a
Wait a
bacon
minute. As a matter of
Cajun
fact,
ranch sandwich. Huh?
Cajun ranch sandwich. That sounds delicious.
From McDonald's though?
Wait, hold on. McDonald's has it?
A Cajun bacon ranch sandwich from McDonald's.
That sounds.
I'd eat it.
Well, that's a thing. Yeah, no, I would try it. I mean,
Okay, so
I
favorite
love
fast
me
food
some
chain,
McDonald's.
go.
Oh, favorites fast food chain? Gosh, you gotta put me on the spot like that. Golly.
That's my job.
Oh, I gotta be real. Just with the amount that I eat it, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Oh yeah, we had this
Yeah.
discussion before about your favorite order.
Yeah, as about you know what's funny is that now I'm realizing that you've done this twice, where it's like Infernape, and there's like, what's your order at Taco Bell? Like the number 7, the quesadilla combo, and what else?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Well, okay, so you didn't say the number 7 combo. You said a chicken quesadilla, and I said, "That's it." When you go to Taco Bell, you make an order yourself out of all these random items, right? Well, no, the nacho fries are like the number 1. I always grab those.
Right.
But like a Doritos Locos taco, and then like either $5 or a beefy 5-layer, or like a double cheesy beef burrito, or just something like that. You just mix 2 random items together and call it good.
Right. That's how normal people order at Taco Bell. I'm the guy who's like, no, exactly the number 7 with exactly a
Number 7?
Pepsi Zero with no ice. That's it. That's my order.
No ice too. Okay. I get you.
Yeah.
I can see a little
Well,
bit into your life now.
I never get any ice in any of my drinks ever because, firstly, when they come out of the soda machine, they're usually cold anyway. And
yeah.
secondly, I saw like a documentary once about like how these ice machines get cleaned like once in a blue moon, and I'm just like, oh, that's disgusting. I'm never doing that again.
Well, no, I don't want to do it either.
Yeah.
So thank you for that new phobia.
Yeah, no, it's been a phobia of mine ever since I saw that. So I was like, okay, yeah, and I'm never getting ice in my drinks again. Every now and then I'll because here's the thing. Everybody gets into such a groove when they're working in fast food, and I understand. I used to work at a pizza place, so that whenever people tell you, well, I want the Hawaiian pizza, you would just automatically put the Hawaiian stuff on it. But, if they said, but I don't want this, like say, I don't want the Canadian bacon, you would just, out of muscle memory, just put the Canadian bacon on there anyway, right? And so, like, a lot of the times whenever I'm on the drive-thru and I say, I would like a Pepsi Zero with no ice, they'll still give it to me with ice because that's just part of their motion, just scoop the ice, pour the drink. So I don't get mad if I get ice, but I do prefer it without.
I had a friend who also got without ice, but it's because he said it watered down the soda too much because it melts really
Also
fast.
true.
We're in California. Like, the second it's in your car and you're driving home, it's going to get somewhat melted.
Also true. Yes. Very yes.
It gets very hot where I live. It's not like the coast where it's like 60 degrees year round, 40 in winter. It's literally...
I've been dreaming about the
100.
West Coast.
Dude, I want to live on the coastline so bad, but also not because the weather can be questionable certain times of year.
Yeah, well, additionally, also, what do you call it? Supposedly, I'm just throwing words out there. But
we're working our way towards it.
I've heard that living next to the ocean actually ages you faster.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm going to retire there so I can die faster then. Like, I'm 75. Just take me out. Let's go. Ocean waves.
Yikes. Oh, man. But apparently no ice costs extra for businesses. Good.
It does?
Well, I imagine because they got to give you more liquid.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. That's my thoughts. Anyway, I don't know.
Biggest complaint I've got right now is that if you take something off of a menu item, it doesn't take money away. But if you add something to it, they add money to that.
Oh, that bothers me so much. Because it's like, dude, like the normal cost for the sandwich is $5, but if I say no tomato, no lettuce, just meat and cheese, you're not gonna, nickel and dime what I remove. But if I say add bacon, you're gonna be like, that'll be an extra $1. What?
Where are you going? That's $5 for a burger. That's where I want to go.
Well, I mean, that's a very common price here in Texas.
I guess I gotta move. In Oklahoma, everything was like $3, but you didn't want to live there and you didn't want to be associated with Oklahomans.
Dang it.
So, I mean, I lived there, but
oh, Lord.
I had to live there. Also, the tornado almost took me out twice, so I guess I don't really need to move back, but it was so cheap, though. California's expensive. Like, McDonald's, it's like $13, or it's $11 for a complete McDonald's meal, the quarter pounder meal. Which
How many
isn't that much. 11.
Yeah, I think it's cheaper here.
It probably is. In
Yeah.
Oklahoma, it was $9.
Yeah, I gotta be real. Like, I went to visit like the co-host for the podcast that I do over in Indiana, and like the prices there were so cheap, so much cheaper compared to what I pay for anything. That I told them all, like, this is amazing. Like, the only problem is that like there's nothing here. So,
yeah, that's why it's cheap. There's nothing there. Oklahoma was so cheap because infrastructure was just awful. Florida too.
Yeah, Florida also, yes, but Florida is because it's a vacation, place.
Yeah, Florida's
like,
expensive, but they don't take care of anything there. Anything.
Yes, also true. Yes.
There's like, okay, so in Florida, there's a policy because I owned a car. I bought a car in Florida, so I was under a Florida policy for a while. Once a year, you can get your windshield changed, all your windows changed, but for free once a year because they won't fix their roads and they're likely to get cracked by pieces of road just getting shot up from other cars and hitting your windshield.
Well, that's terrible.
So once a year, you can get your windshield replaced for free, which is pretty
but in Texas,
awful.
You have to deal with the hurricanes. That's also very true.
Florida also has hurricanes.
I was
bad
here during
hurricanes.
Hurricane Harvey, man. This was bad. It like there's places. There's places where they have like a line drawn on the wall where they're like, this is how high the water got. And I was like, oh, that is very high.
Yeah, I was let me see. I can't remember which hurricanes they were specifically. I have to check the years I was there in Florida, but I was there during their biggest hurricanes of recent years. I can find them.
Come to think of it, I was also in a hurricane in Florida whenever I was very little.
Oh, when you were little?
Yeah, when I was little, because my dad had friends who lived in Florida. We went to visit them for a summer, and a hurricane happened.
Hurricane Herman is the one I was in. Oh, and Irma. I was in both those.
Yeah.
Literally both those, back to back, 2016, 2017. Irma, like, took out so much infrastructure. It was insane. But I was supposed to catch a plane to what's that state just above Florida called? Georgia. I was going to Georgia to see some friends who I met online through League of Legends because I'm a filthy League of Legends player, or was. So I met them through League of Legends. I was like, oh, you should come hang out with us because like you're not too far. It's like a 6-hour drive, but it was like a 1-hour flight. So I was like, yeah, I'll fly out there. And I left the day before or day after the hurricane, barely missed my town. Just so close.
Wow.
We got hit with a tropical storm, and that was it. And I left the next day. And then, yeah, it was nice in Georgia. It was not hot for a little bit.
Very yikes.
Yeah, and then the one I was actually there that hit me, like my window is shattered. And there was a tree that went through someone's bottom floor in the building I was in. Because I lived in the barracks at the time. It was fun. And then we went to Japan, and then there was also a big typhoon that went through Japan. And we got rained on for 3 days straight. Couldn't go to work, which was nice. I had to sit inside the hotel with my friends, and we played Overwatch.
I think I would forgive Japan for that, but that's just because I'm a weeb. I'm willing to look the other way on a lot of things just because I like anime.
Japan was cool, though. I would go back. Right now they don't want tourists there, which sucks because right now it's the cheapest time to go because their currency's gone to crap.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Like, you could afford so much. It's incredible.
You can buy a $200,000 home there for, like, $60K equivalent.
Oh,
here.
I know. My wife is considering it. I'm like, okay, look.
I've looked at it.
I'm like, look, firstly, neither of us knows the language. I know enough to speak at a grade school level, but that's not going to get us through life.
That'll get you enough.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, but the thing is, I know how to speak it, not read it. I mean, like, I know how to read well enough. Like, I know how to read hiragana at least. So, I mean, there's that. But
That's the more important one. You're good.
There's 3 different alphabets, Sacrow. It's insane.
Oh, I'm aware. I've learned Japanese when I had to go out there, but most everything's hiragana.
Is it most everything's hiragana? I thought it wasn't.
No,
that's what was scaring me. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
They don't use kanji a lot because a lot of young people don't know kanji.
Okay, but they still use katakana though, which is like the one that I'm learning right now.
Okay, they use a lot of that one too, actually. But it's like it's simplified, and a lot of it's also Western words. So like you'll see bathroom listed if you go to like Tokyo or something.
Sweet.
So it'll be like bathroom listed, and then it'll have it in hiragana above it.
So something really weird, and you know, I wanted to ask you this because you mentioned that you got hit by a car, and additionally because we talked about windows getting broken in Florida. But have you ever had like a real scary traffic encounter? Like, you know, like you were driving and then something terrifying happened?
I saw a tornado forming once.
Oh, very cool. That's something.
It was lucky it didn't touch down, but it was on the way. I was on my way home, and I don't have any. So for some reason, Oklahoma does this thing where they don't give every home a storm shelter. Because that would make sense because they get it's Oklahoma, man. Why do I have to ask questions? Like nothing there makes sense.
Okay.
Like, the only export out of Oklahoma besides the occasional oil is the fact that they created Hobby Lobby, and what's that one burger joint you can drive up to?
I mean, you can drive up to literally any of them.
Yeah, you're supposed to eat out of your car. Sonic. They created Sonic.
They created Sonic? Oh, wow.
They created Sonic, yeah. And then there's a few other things, but most everything out of Oklahoma is like open fields and tornadoes. Like that's all you got. And
I auditioned for a movie that's supposed to be shooting in Oklahoma, and I'm excited to see if I get called back for it. So,
dude, I mean, hey, if you go there, I'll let you know all the good spots. This is a Korean restaurant in Midwest City. Best Korean food I've had outside of Korea. So, just tell them I sent you.
All right, Sacrow said.
They do know me by my they know me by my real name, but yeah, they're really nice. They don't know anything about my my stage name, I guess.
I should say this is funny because, you know, like you know, you're like the third friend of mine who just like, hey, let me tell you about the Korean restaurant I know. Ask for, tell them I sent you, and then they'll tell me, like, tell them this name, and I'm like, okay, like, what is happening? Like, this is the third time this has happened.
So, I mean, it's got to happen more than actually 3 times. A lot to be a coincidence.
3 times is a lot, dude.
Are they also talking about Oklahoma? Because if they're talking about the same restaurant, that place was delicious.
No. Oh, if it's the same restaurant, that'd be even weirder. But no, I've been told, like, so I was talking to a friend. I said, okay, well, I was thinking of going to visit California again because me and my wife wanted to go see Alcatraz and we just didn't get to. And my friend goes, oh man, I used to live there. There's this Korean restaurant, and you tell them that.
In San Francisco? Bro, it's going to be delicious Korean food.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, great. Good to know. But he says, so, you know, you're going to go there and you're going to tell him that I sent you. I know the owner personally. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then, like, one of my close friends, he says, oh, man, I've been working at this new company, and just a hop and a skip from the new company that I work for, there's this Korean restaurant, and I've gone there every day to eat because it's that delicious. So the entirety of my time working at this company, which has been for several months now, I have been there every day for lunch. You need to go there, and you need to tell the owner that I sent you. And now you're telling me, like, hey, when you go to Oklahoma, there's this Korean restaurant.
Dude, I could tell you, I could tell you their names. I knew them by name. They invited me to their church because we were just there so often because they were just the best food in town.
Great.
I went there and Chick-fil-A a lot.
You know, here's what we're going to do. Podcast episode idea. We visit all 3 of these Korean restaurants.
I can meet you at one of them. Fly you to the next one. Where's the third one at?
In Texas.
Oh, we can drive back down. Perfect.
So Texas, Oklahoma, California. We're going to go to Korean restaurants in these 3 states specifically.
Only these 3 states. I got you. There's actually a really good one in Sac, too. It's called Blue House. I've been there a bunch of times. Shout out to Blue House. They're amazing.
I've been to several Korean restaurants on my own, and I gotta say this: like spicy Korean food hits different.
Oh, it so does. It's so spicy plus sweet, and
Yeah.
then a little taint. Bulgogi. It's pork
Yeah.
bulgogi, and it's the best thing I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah, no, agreed. But like there was this one that I swear like they took it as a challenge, man. I took my girlfriend at the time there and on a date, and I was like, oh, I love spicy food, and then she's like, do you think you could take the spiciest thing on the menu? And I said, yes, I can, because I'm a fool.
You're at a Korean restaurant, right?
Right.
No.
And oh, good golly, like I was struggling, dude. It was insane.
Had the spiciest pad thai at a place in Oklahoma once, and they felt so bad for me. They brought me out a whole milk drink. They made me a milk tea and said, "Here you go," because they saw me like I'm like I'm sweating, but this is delicious, and they're like, "It's okay, take this for free." And I'm like, "You guys are the nicest people I've ever met."
Thank you for taking pity on me, a mortal
Yeah.
man.
Favorite Courage the Cowardly Dog episode? Ooh, the
It's
one
gotta
where they
be
make
Return the Slab.
no, the one where they're like the guy's like I'm a filmmaker or whatever, and he brings his friend out and they're zombies and they're gonna eat Muriel. That's a favorite one.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
But
don't
the
know.
slab one's really good too.
Somebody on the internet just like ruined it for me because they're like, now they're falling asleep, and he's taking a drag, and he's standing in the yard and demanding the slab, and I'm like, God damn it!
Whoever did that is a genius. I need that
I
sent
was
to
like,
me immediately.
why would you do this to me? I'm like, now I can't watch this episode anymore.
Oh, I gotta start a podcast. Apparently, this is podcast vibes for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I need to like. Have you seen the last podcast on the left?
I've heard
not
of it.
seen.
Actually.
I guess have you heard of them? Just kidding. 'Cause they
I
don't have videos.
think I've heard of it. Yes, you know what? It's come across my algorithm several times. I might have even heard an episode.
You should watch their stuff. They're good. So they have one guy, right? He's off the deep end, and he like researches everything. He's really smart about it. They have another guy who's just got the greatest voice, so he does a lot of research as well. But he's like the podcast guy. He talks. And they got a third guy who's just a comedian, and he's just there to listen to them talk and make jokes occasionally. And that's the perfect. I keep in my mic.
That's
perfect
that's the
podcast
dynamic.
formula. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need a third funny guy.
That's the trifecta.
You just gotta have a good mic. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a pretty decent setup. Well, I mean, right now the podcast that we've been doing, there's four of us, and we have a pretty decent setup. Because I'm the unhinged one, obviously.
Yeah, but you're also the voice.
Yeah, I guess I'm also the voice, and I am just force feeding you guys my favorite anime and bad takes, and the rest of you guys are pushing back with everything you've got.
Yeah, I was supposed to watch that after this podcast was over, or after this stream was over.
Yeah.
So I guess I should figure out what I'm gonna watch tonight. I was gonna watch 3 episodes today, 3 episodes tomorrow, and then finish the rest on Tuesday.
It is such a super quick and breezy watch, dude. Like I remember watching the first episode, thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm gonna watch a couple of episodes, see how I like. I finished the whole thing in one night. It was like it was just too good. How could I not?
I'll have to give it a shot then. I'll have to go and. Well, I mean, obviously I have to. It's in my contract, so I'll be watching it soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll give my most honest impressions of how good or bad it is.
Oh yes, for the audience. I mean, I hope you guys are looking forward to Sacrow watching an idol anime. It'll be great.
It's an idol anime?
I mean, not really, because I mean it's technically a rock band. So I mean,
Okay,
no.
like K-On?
Yeah, a little bit like K-On. Yes.
What is your least favorite Courage the Cowardly Dog episode? I don't know if I have a least favorite. Oh, what's the one where Eustace gets turned into gets eaten by a giant foot or toe or whatever? I don't like that one that much.
Yeah.
There's also the episode Muriel demands mac and cheese perfectly, and I hate that one because I hate entitled children.
Yes, that one was terrible. Little Muriel was the name of that
Little
episode.
Muriel. It's such a funny out of context thing, but I just hate the episode itself.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there was one for me where it was like very clearly about domestic abuse, and it was really uncomfortable to watch.
I think I know that one. Yeah.
As a kid, I didn't think too much of it. I was like, oh, this is whatever. But whenever went back to watch it as an adult, it was like, oh, yikes.
I remember that episode. That's the one where he's trying to help the girl escape. It's like a fox girl, trying to help her escape
Yes.
her fox husband. I remember that one. I do. Yeah, Blame It on
Yes.
Jorge told me about it.
Yes,
I do
it
recall.
was a very uncomfortable episode to watch as an adult because it was like, oh my god, like I can't believe this was shown to children. Oh, holy cow!
The whole show shouldn't have been shown to children, but I loved it.
And I keep hearing about like a revival, and I hope that that's a real thing.
They made a movie with Scooby Doo.
They
was
did
cool.
make a movie with Scooby Doo. I haven't seen it, but I want to at some point.
Do I read through all the comments after a stream is done? Sometimes. Sometimes I don't save on here, so like it'll show up as live chat, but it won't show up in my comment section.
I definitely do because I am an egotist.
I've never once. What is it called? Ego search, where you like look up your name on like the internet and see what people have said about you.
I mean, I do, but at this point, I think Google just sends me to where I want to go because it's like I've searched myself enough times to where it's all like, you know that the only thing up is your podcast and your Twitter. You can relax, and I'm like, okay.
I saw a question about me someone wrote once where it was like, does Sacrow like something? It was like creepypastas, not creepypasta specific, but like one specific creepypasta showed up. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look it up.
Well,
but,
did you like that creepypasta?
I did. It was. I think it was Jeff the Killer. Does Sacrow still exist? Yes.
Well, it'd be weird if you didn't, because here I am speaking to you.
And then it's like just my videos, my complete episodes, and my cursed image creepypasta. What the heck is this? Sacrow House, a palace showing the traces of time. Oh, hey,
Did
this
somebody
looks
write a
peaceful.
creepypasta about you?
No, this is some peaceful thing. My name is also belongs to a church. I think I told you this, Church of the Redeemer.
Yeah, you did mention this, yes.
Yeah. My Sacrow is also the name of a church in Spain. I think it's Spain, called the Church of the Redeemer, which is cool because that's not what I made it up for. It's called Sacrow House. That's literally the address. Sacrow House, and I can't read that. Potsdam? Is this? Hold on a second. Where is this at? Anyways, yeah. So I do still exist. If anyone's curious, I do upload. I do upload 2 times a month. I stream usually once a week. Well, now once a week, and I make plenty of other content that I hope other people want to watch. There's a garden there. It's pretty. Unrelated. What's your favorite SpongeBob episode?
Favorite SpongeBob episode? The one where they have a jellyfish rave.
That's not what I expected you to say, but I like that episode too.
I'm a huge fan of like synthesizer music, so if it's present in an episode of anything, I'm all for it. So I remember that episode of SpongeBob very fondly, but also every episode of regular show where I think Gary, the synthesizer guy, shows up.
Oh yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
So then.
Also, the intro is just Stranger Things because that's fully synthesizer music. It's just I love it.
Have you heard of Batwave Audio on YouTube?
Sure have not. What is that?
He does synthwave horror music. I used one of his songs for my Godzilla video back in the day, and I used it for a couple other things. Really good music, really good. Actually, it might be called White Bat Audio or something like that. So yeah, yeah. Oh, I got a super chat here. Periodically correct. Dad, would you read my 2-act play Ad Victoriam? Yeah, sure. Put it in my Discord. I'll read. I like reading, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like reading. I like plays. I like musicals a lot. I can't sing, but I like musicals. Yeah, hey, that's why we're friends.
Yeah, that's why, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't know you liked musicals, but now I do.
I do, in fact. As a matter of fact, what is your favorite musical?
You're not gonna like the answer.
Okay, let's hear it.
Have you heard of Repo the Genetic Opera?
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
Don't tell me it's your favorite.
Comes in a little glass vial. A little glass vial? A little glass vial. No. Yes.
I love Repo was my I first saw Repo when I was just leaving high school. It was old by then, but it became my personality for a little bit of time. This is mostly because I was dating a goth chick who was super into it, and so I got super into it. Because I've seen them all. I've seen Phantom of the Opera, Andrew Lloyd Webber's version. Loved it. Seen it a million times. And I've seen Pirates of Penzance. I've seen I can go down the list for a while, but anyways, that movie became like everything to me. I would literally fall asleep listening to the playlist. I would write my stories listening to all their music, and just it was my jam.
Yeah, it was a really, really good one.
And I just didn't expect to find someone else in the wild who likes it.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Like, I don't know. You said like you're not gonna like my answer, and I was like, what could you possibly answer that I would not?
It's so. I thought it was so underground because no one I ever talked to likes it. Every person I've ever mentioned it to said that's okay. Yeah, I get that.
We watched it in college. I was dating this girl also who was like really into it, but she got into it because of me. And the reason that this happened was because we had a really, really good, what do you call it, video rental store back when those still existed, right? And this video rental store had a lot of lifeblood in it because, firstly, it was the only video rental store in this college town, and secondly, they didn't just rent videos. They also sold, nerdy stuff. Like, here's One Piece plushes and manga and like just a whole variety of things, right? So it was just like this weeb wonderland, and so they also had like this really, really good rental system where it's like, hey, if you return your movie within a day, you get a free rental. If you return it within 2 days, you get, a half, you get half price on your next rental. And, like, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, basically it incentivized you to, not only watch your movie, but come back and get something else, and you wouldn't, if you had a free rental, you wouldn't just rent one movie. You'd rent like that free one plus something else, and then you'd return them early so that way you could get more, right? And so this is basically how it happened. And me and my roommate went through all of their movies basically. And one time what we watched was Repo the Genetic Opera. And we invited my then girlfriend and his then girlfriend to watch the movie with us. We had no idea what it was. It's just like, oh, it says that it's a rock opera, and like my girlfriend at the time was super into the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so it was like,
good choice.
I was like, it's gonna be something in that vein, maybe, and so. Whenever and it was my choice because I was like, I know my girl likes the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so I'm gonna pick something that I think she would like, so that way she's like, oh, it's super happy, and so like we watched it, and I was like, I don't know what the hell I just watched, but this was excellent. It's just like I don't know, like this is great.
What's her favorite song from Rocky Horror from Repo?
Her favorite song?
What's yours? I don't know. I
mean, mine. Oh no. Definitely no. I don't talk to her anymore. She's married, but we're still friends, quote unquote. But like obviously she's got married life. You don't want to be the ex, So it's like no.
Yeah.
But so what is it? My favorite was Cidrate Anatomy, but I also like the one that Sarah Brightman did because I actually liked her music before she was in Repo the Genetic Opera. So
okay. So that's what's it called? What's that song called? Trying to remember all their names. I haven't watched it in almost 10 years, like 6 maybe, 5 or 6.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. There's a song in the very beginning, "Infected." I'm infected by these. That song, that was like my jam for the longest time, because I just loved how much energy and just how much like emotion there was in it. There was 17 as well, but I didn't like it as much. Oh, my video ended. We're back.
No.
Not the stream. Back. Sorry, the fireplace ended.
No, I saw it. I saw.
We outlived the fireplace. There's only 2 hours of footage, so we've been here for more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
But if anybody in chat hasn't seen Repo the Genetic Opera, I think it's on Amazon for like $4, maybe. It's not streaming anywhere. Check it out.
It's super fun. and you know, like a Jude Law movie was made off of that concept, but it was terrible. But like Repo the Genetic Opera was solid though.
Yeah, it
It
was
had a
really good.
it had Alexa Vega in it
It
as
did
an
have Alexa Vega.
yeah, it was weird, you know, because like last time I
I
saw her in anything, it was Spy Kids, and you
Spy
know
Kids,
this
yeah.
was an adult Alexa
I had
Vega. I was like,
I
oh,
had the
weird.
biggest crush on her as a kid.
Yeah, same.
Because I think she's a little bit older than me. I don't know her age. She hold on, but yeah, but it was because of this movie though that I was like, I didn't know she could sing because I knew she sang in the second one, the 2nd Spy Kids, but I didn't like really think about it. You know.
hmm
She's 35. Okay, so she's more older than me than I thought she was.
She's a little younger than me, but like not by a lot, you know. So
Yeah,
she's in my age range.
I don't want to talk about celebrity crushes just yet. We'll save that for a different stream, a different conversation. But yeah, no, Repo the Genetic Opera is really, really solid for a rock opera, horror opera, whatever you want to call it. It's got the guy from Buffy in it, and Alexa Vega.
The guy who played Giles.
Yeah, Giles, whatever his last name was, his character. Love Giles. Love Buffy, by the way. Also great show.
No, yeah,
They also had a
Buffy's
musical
fantastic.
episode.
It did also have a musical episode.
None of them
Him
could
and
sing, but it was great.
Supernatural did too.
I didn't know Supernatural did. I've seen Scrubs' musical episode as well, and that was also
The
really
Scrubs
good.
musical episode was pretty great. Yeah, I as a matter of fact, the Guy Love song lives rent free in my head.
The guy, I like the when she's like Dominican or whatever because she's you're half Mexican. Nope, Dominican. Scrubs was super good. It ended on a really low note, but the original show
really
was good.
did. Yes, the original like what was it, 8 seasons of Scrubs was pretty solid. I enjoyed that.
Will I be opening a discussion on Discord on either cryptids, urban legends, or rock operas? I don't think I do rock operas. That doesn't really pertain to my content, even though I love them. Probably cryptids or urban legends if I could open a Discord or open a discussion tab. But I actually don't know how to use that too well.
The discussion things, it's fairly simple. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like you'll have to show me then because I actually have one on there about abandoned websites, and I've gotten like maybe like 10 or so posts about different stuff that I've looked into. Most of them are like things I already knew about or things that I can't access anymore, or like weird websites.
Every time I hear abandoned websites, my mind immediately goes to Neopets.
It's not abandoned. They still use it.
I think it's just because I never do, you know. So it's just like I remember having Neopets. I haven't fed them in years.
Did you ever play Adventure Quest?
Adventure Quest. Gosh, that sounds so familiar. Maybe
It's like a weird. It was like a. You have to look it up. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but it was good-ish back in the day. It was free, but if you paid for stuff, you actually got to play the game. The free stuff was not very good.
you know what? I think that this is something that that Derringer had told me about. I think that he was super into it, and I was like, oh, we might have discussed it on the podcast at some point.
Bring him on, friend of the channel.
Yeah, so you know, like it's something that it sounds to me like it's something that he's told me about. So I know of it tangentially.
Okay.
That's all I will say.
All right. Well, that's a game worth. I mean, it still exists somehow. There's like 3 different versions of it. So I think Club Penguin's dead. Yeah.
Club Penguin is dead. There was a revival that the fans tried. They tried to do like a fan project to bring it back.
Wasn't that killed by Disney though?
I think it might have been killed by Disney. However, I did a commercial for them.
You gotta send me the commercial if you can find it.
It's saved somewhere. I know that I saved like a lot of my voiceover files, but like yeah, somebody reached out to me because we were on a Discord server together. And they said, hey, you know what? We're doing a Club Penguin revival, like a fan thing. And we need a voice actor to do the spot for, you know, the events that we have planned. So cool. I read through like their entire spot. And supposedly they were going to host a live stream where they released it. And I asked the person, I was like, hey, please send me an invite for whenever you do that. And I just never heard back from them. But yeah, you know, they did keep the audio, so.
Okay. Sacrow, would you ever play? Are you a Phasmophobia player? I can't read. Oh, would you ever play Phasmophobia? I actually did a stream of Phasmophobia forever ago on here with some of my friends, and that that was a good time. Oh, I just accidentally turned my audio on. But yeah, no, I would definitely play Phasmophobia again. I enjoyed it. It's better in VR for sure, because the ghosts will whisper in your ears, and you're wearing a VR headset. You're gonna die. You're gonna fall backwards.
Very
I almost
cool.
did.
I love it.
It was so fun. Yeah. So yeah, I would. I would for
It's
sure
like
do that.
that Silent Hill concept for the PS5 that I remember seeing that and I was like, oh, that looks so cool. And then like just Kojima just like no.
No. Didn't
Like
Silent
noped out of
Hills
it.
get destroyed? No, they fired
Y-
him.
Yeah, they fired him. That was what happened. I was like, I remember that the project fell apart and I couldn't remember why.
Yeah,
But
they fired him. Sad.
yeah,
Sad day.
which yikes. I mean, because I was like, come on, man. Like this concept was excellent and it sucks that nothing bigger came of it.
Yeah, he did a great job with it too. Like I never got to play it because I mean I had a PS4 at the time, but I was on deployment when it came out, and by the time I got back, they removed it from the store, and so I never got to
Yeah.
actually play it myself, and I was very upset about that because I love Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We should play Silent Hill for the gaming channel.
Oh, we should. We could play
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. The Room. Definitely 1, 2, and 3. Actually, now that I think about it, The Room was kind of hit or miss, and Downpour as well was also Downpour had so good music though. Except for they keep copyrighting one of the songs I keep using in my videos, so they change it every time. I don't remember what the song was called, but it sounds really good, and it worked with my voice, and they keep copyrighting it, so I can't use it anymore.
Jeez.
Fair, they're allowed to use it, it's their music, but come on, guys.
Right.
You guys
it's
make
just
so much money. I make like $50 off of that one section I use your song in, comparatively.
just look the other way.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
leave me alone. I can use the other songs, just not that one.
just let me do the thing. Come on.
Come on, be cool, guys. They changed everything in Phasmophobia recently. Just heads up, they did. Crap, I haven't played in forever. I remember they had an update saying they were gonna remove the leveling system or change it, and that's the last time I played it. So it's been a while. Yeah. Have you ever played Phasmophobia, Bard?
I was gonna say, fun fact, I have not.
You
However, I have seen
should.
so many live streams of people playing Phasmophobia because you and I run in some horror circles, right? And a lot of my friends
Mainly, yeah.
who are horror YouTubers play it, so I watch them play it, but I've never played it myself.
We should pull together a bunch of narrators and play it together. A bunch of horror people.
Yeah,
We can get me,
Would be-
you, 242. I don't know a fourth one off the top of my head, but
Miss Creepy Tales or Lady Spookaria, both of them play it.
I can message Mr. Creepypasta, but I don't know if he'd be down.
Mm.
Or I know Icy Dice.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's written several of the more popular creepypastas.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he narrates his own stuff too, but most of the stuff he does is get the librarian to join you. Oh, I just saw some of his stuff actually. It's pretty good. Maybe I'll hit him up too. I want to work for Blame It on Jorge really badly. Like we were supposed to do something together. I just need to find a project that we could both work on.
Phasmophobia sounds like a good one.
Have him come to the Phasmophobia stream. Yeah, get Blame It on Jorge in here for some Phasmophobia.
Let's do it.
I'm also good friends with Dylan the Night. Well, I'm not good friends with, but I know Dylan the Night Owl. We've talked a few times. He's pretty cool. Gears KO. We've had a few conversations. He's a cool guy. That Creepy Reading. I met him once. Who else was I talking to? I need to talk to Nexpo as well because I want to see if he wants to do a collab, but he's pretty busy.
Mm.
He does a lot of stuff, and then Nick Crowley's always busy as well. So we'll
all
see.
of
We'll
these
see
are
who I can get.
YouTubers I watch.
These are all big
of them.
names. Yeah, they're like way bigger than I am. But I've had conversations with them about doing stuff and just never got around to it. Mostly because I always feel like my content's not quite up to theirs yet. So I'm like, I don't know what project to bring you guys on because it's like you guys make such good stuff and I make, content.
Well, as my acting coach says, you gotta think that they're thinking the same thing about themselves with the people that they watched that inspired them to do the things
That's
that they do, right?
that's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like we all feel this way, but in reality, we're all just people, doing a thing.
True.
So yeah, like
Hey,
that. That's just something that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that that's just something that he hit me with one time, and it's just like really
Okay.
stuck with me.
That's a good point though. I guess you just kind of like we are just people. We're all out here just making content and having a good
Yeah,
time.
and having a
Uh,
good time.
that's why I'm here. Have you ever chatted with Creepypasta? No, and I probably won't because there's some stuff about him that came out a long time ago that um
Yeah.
yeah there's actually like an unspoken rule within the horror community when they invited me to it because I didn't know it existed until someone said, hey, come join our group on Facebook. And it's like 100, I don't know if it's 100 people, but it was like 40 or 50 maybe people in this group chat. And they make great content, by the way, all of them, just nice people, great content. But they said we don't talk about Creeps McPasta, and I was like, why? And then I had to look into it myself. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so we get, yeah. Let's do a 4-player random horror game. What do we got? What's the chat want us? What's the chat saying? Let's check. Lethal Company.
So Phasmophobia is an easy one, like just because that's just built
Yeah,
for that.
and then Lethal
Uh,
Company as well. Have you ever played Lethal Company?
I no, I have not.
Huh.
Let's see. Off the top of my head, I know that the sequel to well, not the sequel, the spiritual successor to Until Dawn, Man of Medan, is a multiplayer game.
Oh, it is. You're
But
right.
yeah, but I don't know how that works. So
I say we do like Lethal Company. Honestly, it's pretty cheap, and we can get 2 more people in here, and we can have a fun little time.
mhm.
The problem is getting that many creatives together in one stream because it's hard to get people to commit to things. I find it's hard enough getting just my regular friends to agree to come to an event with me. So
Yeah, yeah,
we
that is
could.
a thing.
I would definitely ask 242 and someone else that you may know. We can do like a 4-person
No, we could
Phasmophobia
do.
run or something.
There's people
I,
who play Phasmophobia. We could ask Gamma. I think Gamma might have played it once or twice in the past. Just in the horror community circles. I mean, I know Miss Creepy Tales did, but her computer is like destroyed right now.
oh,
Uh, and I know Lady
unlucky.
Spookaria does. So, there's people who play Phasmophobia.
I can hit up Dylan the Night Owl.
Hmm?
Yeah, I can hit up Dylan the Night Owl and see if he's interested, and then we can do 242 since I owe her some content still, and she owes me some content. So,
I owe her some content too.
so there we go. We all owe her some
I,
content.
I promised to draw her some chibis a long time ago, but I'm so bad about doing art that I'm like, I'll be like, yeah, I'll put it on my pile, and I just never get around to it. And I'm like, oh, I'm so bad about this, and I'm so nervous to ever bring it up.
In our group chat, you're still working on what's Helix's
Uh,
art piece. So,
I'm working on helixes, but I'm also working on one for Gamma for the next time we do the
ooh,
next time we do a Weeb podcast.
let's see
So,
what Gamma appears as. To be honest,
well, I'm also gonna do a rework of the one that I sent you also because like since the podcast is very what do you call it? I don't know, Blade Runner, synthwave, neon sunset themed.
mm-hmm.
I kind of like draw all of the avatars that go on that podcast in kind of like a cyberpunk style.
Yeah, I've
So
noticed. They look good though.
yeah, so I'm gonna cyberpunk you up, and I'm gonna cyberpunk Gamma up, and that's what I'm
Yo.
working on.
So I played Cyberpunk. I want that thing that goes on their jaw. I don't know what it's called. The one that goes on their jaw and then goes up to their eyes. You know, like the lines. I don't know, man. I'll send you a picture of my avatar.
Yeah, cyberpunk is awesome.
Cyberpunk is fun. Yeah.
It is a fun game. Well, God, that is a gut punch after the first act, and I'm just like, oh,
Oh,
what happened?
yeah. Yeah. We don't talk
I
about
like.
Jackie.
Oh God, Jackie,
Mr.
rest in
Wells.
peace.
Hope you're
My
drinking
boy.
tequila in heaven.
Drinking tequila in heaven, yes.
Was it tequila? I can't remember what her drink was. I want to say it was tequila. But that just
All I
seems
know
too,
is that every time I met Jackie, that boy was eating. And he was,
he was
I was,
our boy for sure for that alone.
yeah, I was like, but man, you are always eating when I meet up with you, dog. What is going on?
That'd be me too.
And,
If my
and
friends
his,
want to
his
hang out, I want to eat.
and he was a mama's boy. He'd be like, hey, let's go see my mom, and I'd be like, yeah, like I was like, I am so like super friendly with Jackie. He is my type of dude.
I was gonna ask you a romance, but I think there's only really one option, isn't there?
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't finished Cyberpunk. I've gotten like I've gotten beyond the first act. I'm well into the Johnny Silverhand arc. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
There's a side quest you get with two different characters you can romance. Technically,
What is it, like Pan Am and
Pan
someone
Am,
else?
and then there's a guy if you're a male character, and the other way is it's Judy if you're a female character. Or you can run. There's a script you can run. Well, you basically go into your files and say romance all, so you can romance every character you want because they have voice lines for every gender, no matter who you picked. So initially it was gonna be in the game, but they for some reason removed it at the last minute. Yeah, we're talking about Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk 2077.
We haven't been talking about cryptids for over half an hour.
An emotional gut punch of a game that spawned an emotional gut punch of an anime. Oh my god.
Yeah. We don't talk about cyber psychos.
We don't talk about Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That anime destroyed me emotionally, man. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. Anyways, Pan Am's a good choice. And if you go with either, go with Judy's great too. I love Judy.
Fantastic.
She's like an alt, like Latina girl.
I'm a sucker for games that let me romance characters. That's why I love Fire Emblem so much.
Fire Emblem, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Dragon's Dogma, Rune Factory.
I heard a rumor that what do you call it? That the Final Fantasy VII remake was going to let you romance Tifa, and I'm not a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII specifically because it's the one that seems kind of overdone in my head. But if they let you romance Tifa, I'm playing that game.
It's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the new one just came out. You can romance Tifa or Aerith. So
I'm playing this game.
Yeah, you don't have to play the first one. Just watch somebody else play it, and then just go straight into the second one. Nothing wrong with that, man. That's why you like Stardew Valley. I love Stardew Valley. I've played that game so many times. It's crazy. I'm on my sixth playthrough right now. Dude, it's such a fun little you sit down, you farm, your farm looks nice eventually, you hang out with the townsfolk, you kill some things in the dungeons, you collect rocks mainly because that's like pretty much all that's down there. And then you go and you give your gifts to whoever you want to marry someday. And I've never actually got married in that game. Every time I start it, I end up going, "Oh, I'm going to pick this girl this time." And then I never finish it. So I've never been married once.
Okay, so see, like up until you said you kill things in dungeons, I was like, "Oh, so it's like Animal Crossing." But
You kill like basic enemies. There's like some zombies down there, some slimes, and it's not really about the combat. It's more about the vibes for sure. Like I said, yeah, it's
right.
Vibes. Also, the Wendigo, it technically doesn't count as a cryptid because it's a part of someone's mythology, but it's kind of a cryptid. I like Wendigos. I think they're cool.
Yeah.
Also, did you know there's two different versions of the Wendigo?
I did not.
There's the Wendigo with the E, how he spelled it, and there's the Wendigo with the I. One is like a sky demon that pulls people up by their feet so fast that their feet burn. They leave burn marks in the snow as they're being carried off.
Interesting.
And the other one's, the famine one that also probably does the same thing, picks you up off your feet, but he eats you, Or doesn't eat you. It depends what he's feeling that day.
Huh.
Oh, there's a game
very cool.
There's a game about you observing anomalies through sets of cameras. That's an interesting idea for a game.
Yeah, no kidding. That sounds like a game that I'd be very invested in.
It sounds like a game that it took us 4 hours to complete just one house level. That sounds like a really good game.
Yeah, like a game that maybe we weren't really that great at, even though we should have been better than we were.
It sounds like a game that you could have 3 people looking at the game, and for some reason you still don't see that the cup moved 45 centimeters to the right, and you're like,
Yep.
that cup was always there, right?
It's a game that it sounds like you can have 3 people playing, and all of us are double guessing our sanity because we could have sworn that box was facing the other way a second ago.
And like 90% of the game is just gaslighting each other. Yep.
Yep. That kind of game.
That's our first game we ever made a video on the other channel. That's going to be coming out soon. It's already edited. It's just needs a thumbnail.
Yeah.
We played on Observation Duty. It was so fun.
Look forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be exciting. If you're gonna be yelling at your screen because you're gonna be like, they don't see that.
Yeah.
For 45 minutes because that's how long it is.
I can just see like all of the comments like, this is so easy. Like, and all of us are like, yeah, no.
You can put video ideas and you can put videos in the thing on Discord. I look at those quite a bit. I don't always make them because sometimes I just don't fit into my style or schedule, but I try to. I also have another channel where I'm just going to be reading creepypastas and user suggestions, so that'll be a thing too. It'll be shorter videos though. But I also have college starting back up soon, so it's going to be a little bit of a slow go. You been playing Outlast? Outlast is good. Outlast Trials is great. You should play Outlast Trials. It's fun. Bard, we should play Outlast Trials. Did I show you Bardy? Bard, we should be playing Outlast Trials.
Yeah, sure. I'm in. I've played one Outlast before, I'm pretty sure.
Outlast Trials is co-op.
Right.
4-player co-op, 4 times as hard, and there's a lot of naked people in it, so it's going to be really hard for the editor to blur out all the danglings,
I'm pretty sure the editor will be fine at it.
I'm sure the editor has nothing better to do than to edit out a giant man's things. Demonetization symbols all over the screen. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, really. Just demonetization symbols just like covering all of the junk.
Yeah, it's it'll be a fun time. But we should definitely play that one too. I'll add it to the list.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. If you guys have, we'll probably make a separate section of the Discord for the gamers playing games. That's what the channel's gonna be called, or it was called GPG TV, I think.
Yeah, now because
yeah,
we were like, yeah, gamers playing games, let's go. And then I was like, oh, that sounds so difficult to say. Let's GPG TV, like.
Yeah, and that's what we are now. We're GPG TV. So
yeah. Gonna be fun coming to a YouTube screen near you, baby.
Yeah, the videos will be they'll be a bit different than what my normal content is, but I'm hoping people will still come over and give it a shot. It's gonna be more my personality and less of me obsessing over random horror internet that I've been in love with since I was able to read the internet, I guess, because I didn't have the internet always as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the story about the ghost you live with? Yeah. I have enough time for a little bit more. I gotta
Sure.
get ready soon. So yeah. Type your story in chat. I'll we'll read through it for a little bit. You're a self-entertainer? Oh, me too. That's like 90% of what I do.
Self-entertain?
Yeah, I will literally pull something out and just start entertaining myself with it. I don't know. Books, my drawing stuff. I kind of just have to have something I'm fiddling with at all times.
Oh, it's manga for me, man. I like just today I could not sit still at home, so I went out to the Barnes & Noble and bought well, this isn't technically manga, but I bought like the Adventure Zone, the first volume.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I know what that is, actually.
Sacrow, I have something to introduce you to.
The Adventure Zone, huh? Let me Google it.
No, it is a podcast that got drawn into a comic, and basically it's 3 brothers and their dad playing Dungeons and Dragons. Is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. It's called the Adventure Zone, and what you're looking for is specifically the first run they did at it, which I think was called like the Bureau of Balance story. It is so excellent, and it is so funny, and it is so creative. and you can tell like that this entire family is just a family of entertainers. Like their dad is on the radio, and the three brothers have a very successful podcast called My Brother and Me.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, so like all the entire family is just like got entertainment in their blood, and so their adventure in D&D was so funny
We
and just
should play D&D as
endlessly
well.
entertaining. Yes, we should.
Have you ever played?
I played. That's why my name is the Midnight Bard. I played D&D a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Bard is one of the character classes you can
Yeah,
have
it
in
is
D&D.
one of the classes. Yeah. I played
Yeah,
it quite
yeah.
a bit too. I was supposed to DM for my friends, but I haven't had the time to sit down and write a story or even get them to meet me at the same house.
I DM'd once, and we were all drinking while we D&D'd. So we had a lot of funny stories, such as me falling asleep at the DM screen,
Oh,
and
what a story!
and everyone else just we went off the handles pretty quickly, and it turned into one of those stories that it's like this would be quickly demonetized on YouTube because of the amount of swearing and also because of all the phallic imagery.
That's a good storytelling. Or that's a good D&D session you've got going on there.
Yes, it
We
was
should
wild.
try it. We could find someone to DM for us. We could hire a DM, and then we could maybe run it for a podcast at some point. Let me see. Sorry, I'm figuring out where I'm in the chat. What if a ghost wants to hear the podcast? Let them come on in. Tell them to subscribe while they're here. By the way, members are active. I've never used memberships. I don't know if they're any good or not, but they're available. And the subscribe button's free. Thanks, ghosts. Let's see.
Remember to haunt that subscribe button.
And continue haunting it until we're at 1 million. Thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be insane. I can't even imagine having 1 million subscribers.
I mean, same.
Sorry, I'm gonna read this now. Let's see. I live with 7 girls at a uni house. We constantly hear ghosts or bangs and doors opening, and one of my housemates heard a child whispering and felt scratches down her arm, and another woke up with a bite mark on her arm, and she had photo evidence. And one of our housemates moved out, and her doors was locked, but you can see her window from the outside, and her blinds moved from closed to open. Ooh, that's kind of creepy. That's kind of cool. I mean, creepy or bad actually, because they're hitting you. No, bad ghosts, because they're scratching you and biting you. Well, that's actually kind of creepy. I don't even know what I'd do if a ghost like assaulted me. Who am I gonna call?
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I didn't even think about what I was thinking because I thought cops. Like, oh, they assaulted me. Got to call the cops. But a ghost or a squatter? I mean, I'd rather be a ghost than a squatter, to be honest.
Right.
You said housemates. Do people call each other housemates in America? It's roommates, right?
Yeah, roommates.
Roommates. Okay. Housemates is more like a British or European thing.
I have heard housemates, but for the most part, roommates is what you hear.
Yeah. I had roommates for a long time. I also had You're British. Oh well, thank you for listening It's pretty early in the morning there, isn't it? It's like 7 hours ahead. It's like it's 9 hours ahead of where I'm living. Let's see. What time is it in British land? I misspelled Britain. 5 a.m. Wow. Either you just woke up, or you haven't gone to sleep yet, and well, that's cool. I'm glad to know that I have like international fans. That's really cool.
It's an exciting feeling.
For a while, I used to stream in the morning because I had a lot of people from the UK who would listen, and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, can you stream in the mornings because we like to listen to you?" I was like, "Yeah, like I can stream in like the earlier times of the day," and then But of course, me being me, I just love the nighttime. It's like the best time to kind of vibe out. Plus, I work during the day, so yeah.
Same. I mean, yeah.
You went to a haunted high school? That's cool too. My school had a bunch of haunted things, but none of them tried to be true, I don't think.
Our high school went through a remodeling, and whenever they did that, they were like, tearing down walls, kind of like basically renovating an entire wing.
Uh,
And bats made their way into the school, so that now they were living there. And supposedly somebody in the high school got bitten by one of the bats and died of rabies.
oh, that's not where I expected that story to go. But it went there, so that's probably. Are you trying to say it's haunted by the child who was bit by a bat?
No, but we have a story of our high school's Batman.
High school's Batman. Thank you very much.
Yes.
The Midnight Bard, everyone. Wish your high school had been haunted. Mine kind of had stories, but it wasn't really haunted per se. It just had stories about like strange sightings and stuff during the nights. But I'm pretty sure it was just homeless people jumping the fence and sleeping in the open barn area we had, because most of the time people weren't leaving their sheep. And I went to a very rural high school. I just realized it was very rural. We had a farm on the high school grounds where you could raise animals.
So did we. It was wild.
Oh, we live in Texas. I just imagine that would be like a normal thing.
Yeah, like we have like the FFA programs, the Future Farmers
we
of
do.
America.
Future Farmers, yeah. We have one
Yeah,
too.
and what's the thing is we had horses and stuff, and like here's the crazy thing: the FFA kids would ride their horses to school. It was wild.
We had like all the Hispanic kids would like come out on Cinco de Mayo with their horses doing dances and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah,
Dancing horses are really cool. I like it.
Mm.
Let's see.
Now I'll tell you about that time that I had a haunted pizza.
No, continue.
It had a ghost pepper on it.
Yeah, okay. That's where I thought it was going.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say something a little different. I'm like, is it going to be the ghost pepper thing? Or
It is the ghost pepper. I saw ghost pepper in the chat, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta make a joke out of this."
I just saw that too. I'm trying to catch up. I'm very slow at reading chat sometimes. See, I love your YouTube account. I listen to the Ritual Pasta Iceberg. Oh, thank you. The Ritual Pasta Iceberg is one of my favorites. It's a little longer than I expected it to be when I was done with it. It's 9:16 p.m. here. Wow, it's same. You must be on the West Coast. Let's see. Yeah, I live on the West Coast still, which is like all of 12 states, I think. So just pick one, and I'm probably in one of them. Let's see. Pretty British thing to see a cow giving birth at primary school. Yeah, we had that happen too. I don't know if it's just a British thing, but it's good to know that the British still do things we also do here. I'm glad to see we're not too far separated, because I also had to watch fish or cows being given birth, and I watched them kill fish at a fishery. That was awful. Never again.
Well,
Do you want to know how?
You remember how I mentioned? You remember how I mentioned that my family comes from a different country, right? So while visiting down there, this was the same summer that I got that burn, by the way. Grandma, she's like, okay, well, we're gonna make some chicken soup, and I said, okay, cool. So we're gonna go to the store and buy some chicken. She went right outside, grabbed one of those chickens, and cut his head off.
Yeah, we had neighbors who they were migrant workers, and they would travel a lot. And my dad had chickens, and so I guess they must have asked my dad something. But they took one of our chickens and they beheaded it, and were having it like hanging on their patio. And my little brother, who was just trying to decide if he wanted to be a vegetarian or not, because he was taken to a slaughterhouse way too young. He's like, I'm kind of on the fence. Saw that, cried, and said, I'm a vegetarian now. And I was like 8 years old, and he's still a vegetarian. He's like 20 something.
Well, good for him sticking to his guns.
Yeah, he stuck to it. So, yeah. 1919, the Pasatello High School. I don't know if I read that correct. I definitely read that wrong. Weapon Flames.
Pocatello. Yeah.
Pocatello. Oh, is that in Texas?
No, it isn't. Or as far as I know, it isn't.
That's a lot of things to happen at one school. While I was in school, we had a girl. I actually can't bring it up because YouTube will ban it. Anyways, she passed away. And we had a whole wake and everything. And my band at the time wrote a song for her, and we played it in front of the whole school. And it was super hard to do because a lot of people were like crying, and we're like trying to play, and it was rough. It was rough for her. a lot of us. But that was the only time that's ever happened in my school. Well, I mean, there's some guy got in a car accident and died too, but that wasn't on the school grounds. Sacrow was my dad. I have kids. I have kids.
Congratulations, you're a father.
Thank you. I'm a dad. Wow, I'm too young to be a dad, bro. I don't want to be a dad. Sorry, I shouldn't say I don't want to be if I already have kids. That's weird. I'll be the dad you deserve. I'm sorry. What do you want for Christmas? Let me know. Had a ghost throw a pizza box outside my childhood home. Dude, that sucks. I love pizza, and that ghost was rude for doing that. Girlfriend is a ghost? Wait. So I have a son, or I have a kid, and they have a ghost? Girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a good book idea.
It sounds like one of those isekai things. Like, I got transported to another world, and now my girlfriend is a ghost.
I would read it.
I'd read it, too. I say isekai like it's a bad thing. Like, I don't devour that content. Like,
I don't read a lot of isekais. I've seen a few and I've read a few, but the good ones stick with me, and the bad ones are just like background noise somewhere in my brain.
Agreed.
It's 11:22 here. That is Texas time, I think.
That is
Central.
Texas time. It is 11:22 for me as well.
Oh, do you have work in the morning? Do you have work in the morning?
I do.
Oh, well, maybe we should wrap this up then before you... It's in Idaho time. I've never been to Idaho, but I always wanted to go. It's really pretty there, it looks like. How old am I? I am old enough, but not old enough, if you get what I'm saying. No,
I do. I'm trying to like...
I'm old enough to drink and vote, but I'm not old enough to... I don't know.
To feel as old as Bard actually is.
Let's see. I'm younger than Bard, but I'm older than 25. There you go.
Yeah.
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 It puts me somewhere in the correct range. I'm a Zoomer. Okay, just put it there. I'm a Zoomer, so you can just guess my age by Zoomers.
You're a Zoomer.
Yay. Zoomers. Got the Zoomies.
Got the Zoomies.
Anyway. Ohio's like my
Helix is
resident
old enough. You know, the thing that drives me crazy is that I know that Helix is so much younger than me, but I never like remember it just when I'm interacting with him. So like sometimes he'll say something and I'll be like, "Okay, how old are you?" And then he'll tell me, and it's so much younger than like it clicks in or registers in my head. So I'm like, "Oh right, compared to me, I'm ancient."
Oh yeah, Helix in the chat, by the way. He's our third for our gaming channel. So everyone say hello, Helix. He is in fact old enough. I keep hitting my mic. It's getting late for me. Helix is cool. Hello, Helix. Welcome.
Yeah, Helix is great. I am.
I wonder why he's still awake.
I am particularly happy about his avatar and the way it looks. He had
I can't wait
nothing to say. He was absolutely speechless whenever I. No, it was in the chat. In the.
Is it?
Yeah, you remember I posted it and like he had no words.
He was speechless. You're right. He loved it.
Yeah, no.
He told me himself. I mean, he didn't tell me himself, but he told me himself.
I'm like, you don't need to say anything. No need to thank me. It is beautiful. A masterpiece, if you will.
If I ever visit Ohio, come and say, or Idaho, come say, or if I ever visit Idaho, be warned the weather kind of is a pain. That's okay. Everywhere I've lived, the weather's been a pain. So, I lived in Oklahoma, I've lived in Florida, I lived in Virginia, I lived in California. I lived in Japan, Italy for a little bit. Iceland, it was literally snowing every day. But, yeah.
No, that makes sense in a place called Iceland, but yeah.
It's less snow than Greenland. So, still speechless. Okay. Thank you, Helix. Yeah, so I'm at the... Yeah, I actually should start winding down the thing. So any last questions before we sign off for the evening?
Oh, I forgot to mention my favorite, what do you call it, musical.
You did?
Since we were talking about it, we just like went off on Repo the Genetic Opera. It's the producers, but second place is Encanto, because that's Lin-Manuel Miranda, so I consider it a musical.
I've never seen Encanto, actually.
It is so good.
I mean, I imagine it would be, but I just never sat down to watch it. I'll give it a watch.
Yeah.
I've never seen the
Yeah.
producers either. Actually, now that I think about it, I thought you were gonna say
Matthew
Rent for
Broderick.
some reason.
It's got nah.
Ah.
Matthew Broderick. It's got Will Ferrell in it. It's really
Will
funny.
Ferrell and Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
All right, I'm adding to my list.
It's about two musical theater producers trying to put on a play that's so bad that it tanks, so that way they could just walk away with like some insurance scam money, basically. But so they're doing everything wrong on purpose, but it accidentally becomes a success, and they're like, "Oh no, what do we do? We cooked the books." So excellent.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out. Helix asks.
Uma Thurman was
what?
also in it.
Golden ratio explain our place in the cosmos, bro. I'm. Is this a Persona question? In Persona 5, they ask like 6 questions about the golden ratio.
So there's a theory in numerology that everything is just made of numbers. You know, like
Yeah,
numbers
I've heard
technically
it, yeah.
are. Yeah. It's my theory that this is exactly what he's referring to.
Oh, you're at your last year in uni. What are you studying?
Arbitrary loves the producers. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't seen it yet. I gotta watch it then. I've been everywhere. Yeah, I've kind of been everywhere because the Navy sends you everywhere. So I've been to several countries I never even thought of going to. I've also been to the UK a few times. Never specifically Britain. I've been to Ireland. Well, parts of Ireland are considered the UK. I've been to Scotland, and I've been to Wales. Yeah.
Helix says 369. Dang, she's fine. Get low. Get low, get low, get low, get low.
Did he say all that? Did he really say all that? Let me find
No,
it.
he said 369 and then I went off.
Oh, 369, like the area code of somewhere in LA, I think. I don't remember. Rey Mysterio used to say it a lot when he did his little kick thing.
369 is also like the basic numerology structure of behind the virtual world archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it makes rank 3s, it makes level 6 and level 9 synchros. It can make rank 9s, rank 6s. It's
Okay.
really good.
Does Helix have a channel? Helix is on a channel with us, actually.
Helix is going to be on a channel with us, yeah. Helix also shows up regularly on the Battle Phase podcast, where
You should definitely link your Battle Phase channel, Bard.
Oh shoot! Like
Put it in the chat before we get out of here.
Oh, put it in the chat. All right. Hold on.
Bro, drop it in the chat. We're gonna get you. I guess there's 30 people in the chat right now, so maybe 30 subscribers. Hopefully, probably more like 5 or 6, because 30 people is usually people are kind of like listening in the background. I do get a lot that people say they will throw these podcasts on and fall asleep to them. So.
Well, if you guys enjoy anime, if you love listen to people ramble on about their bad takes about anime, you guys should check out the Battle Phase podcast.
But the greatest takes about anime, and he's preparing you guys for what those are.
Yes, they're great takes, and you should check them out. Additionally, it's not just on YouTube, but you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Amazon Music if you got Amazon Music. I'm trying to find a link so that I can put it on here.
Helix is part of both our YouTube channels. He doesn't have his own, sadly. Helix should start his own YouTube channel, is what I'm hearing.
Hold up. Oh no.
Oh, there's a song that goes, I've been everywhere, man. It sounds familiar. I don't know if I recognize the lyrics right away. But I'll check that out, I guess. Whatever the song's called.
I've been everywhere, man. It's a country song. It's
Wait,
an
hold
excellent
on.
country song.
Blazing Saddles and the producer are both Mel Brooks?
Yes, I believe so. Yes. I
Oh,
think Mel
no
Brooks is in both of those.
I should check them out for sure.
No, absolutely. You should check it out. It is excellent stuff. The producers itself has some of the funniest songs that I've ever seen in anything. It's so good.
Oh, I'll have to give it a try then, for sure.
I've dropped the link in the chat, but I don't know if chat auto kicks this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Send it to me.
Okay.
Put in the Discord. I'll post it.
Because I was like, I don't know if this does that, but I was like, oh no, I don't see it coming up, so I guess it does. Yeah, Helix also came up with like what do you call it? He like added the what do you call it, the podcast. So I don't know. I'm not very familiar with the chat function because I normally am the person talking and not the person chatting. Springtime, yes. Arbitrary knows exactly the funniest song in the musical.
I'll have to check that out. I've really been looking for a musical to watch, so I'm definitely gonna. Here's
Oh, the producers.
Here's
You
his
cannot go wrong.
channel. So give it a shot or give it a check out. Or he does a lot of stuff. It's good stuff. I'm on there occasionally.
Yeah, you've been on there for 2 episodes now, and
Two's occasionally.
And more to come. And Helix is
hopefully more
on
to
there
come.
all the time, and shoot, Gamma is on there all the time, and Dare is on there for the the Sunday live streams, which have become a little scarce because my day job sometimes gets me tied up. But hopefully we'll be able to start doing the Sunday live streams again fairly soon.
Yeah, I don't usually stream on Sundays. This is first for me because I couldn't stream yesterday because my power was whatever.
Oh, Lady Spookaria is here.
Oh, hello. Long time
We
no
were-
speak. How are you doing?
We were just talking about you and how we should play Phasmophobia.
Oh yeah, you got to join us for Phasmophobia. I got a message 242. I owe her content, and she owes me content.
Mhm.
We owe each other content. Let's see. Last question before I go. Will you have a good night when you're done with the stream? I will try my best to have a good night. I'm going to throw on my sleep goggle things or my sleep headphones because I like to listen to music when I sleep, and I'm going to listen to something.
What do you listen to? Quick, tell us your playlist.
Music wise, let's see. Poets of the Fall is my favorite band of all time. If you haven't heard of Poets of the Fall, you should listen to them. They're really good. They wrote songs for Max Payne and both of the Alan Wake games.
Hell
I
yeah.
think they're finished. They're both good. Let's see. I also listen to right now. I'm listening to Funhouse's old videos because their channel just died. They're done because they were owned by Rooster Teeth, and Rooster Teeth just went under.
Oh man, that sucks. I want to see
used to
how
watch them
Ruby
so long
ends.
If we ever see a Ruby ending, but they're doing something, and yeah, listen to Portal 2 music. How'd you know? I love Portal 2 music. Bard still doesn't play Portal 2, by the way, just so y'all know.
I still haven't. No, that's gonna happen on the gaming channel. That's a thing that's literally on the schedule. Bard plays Portal 2.
Also, you're never too late to the party, Spookaria. You're always welcome. I saw you were streaming too. I was in the chat, I think, for a little bit before I opened too many tabs, and now I'm 30 tabs deep. You're in here somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we should definitely, maybe next Friday or Saturday we'll get together and we'll do a Phasmophobia stream for everybody, if that sounds good. We'll play Phas, and I'll get some friends together, and we'll bring the horror community together for one big stream.
One big stream, so much bigger than anything else that has come before it. It'll eclipse everything in its wake. It'll be grand and fantastic. People will be there. People you know. People you might want to know. Friends, family, neighbors. All of them will come together for this game of Phasmophobia, starring Sacrow and the Peeps. Yeah, baby. You don't want to miss it.
The Peeps. Didn't we come up with a random name for our channel group called the Jeeps?
The Jeeps, because gamers,
gamers
playing games,
games,
GPG, the
Yeah,
Jeeps.
We are bad at making up names. We'll send you a message. You got to join us. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
We can share some community stuff, and we'll talk. If
It'll be
get in
incredible.
contact with the librarian, tell him I sent you. Yeah, I'll see. It's hard to contact other big YouTubers, to be honest. Like other YouTubers who are like busy, you can tell what kind of content they make and stuff. It's just kind of hard. But I know the people I do know already. Like I've had conversations with. I would love to work with all of them. So definitely looking forward to that. And then we'll play some. What's that other game called we were looking at? The one about dying in space and stuff.
Dying in space and
Lethal
stuff?
Company, yeah.
Lethal Company, yeah.
We can do Phasmophobia and Lethal Company.
It's like dying in space, that just sounds like something that would happen normally. What are we talking about?
Yeah, Lethal Company, and we'll do Phasmophobia stream together. It'll be fun. And then maybe we can have like another random hit out moment, like during the 2020 horror community when they came together for that one stream.
They've come together for a lot of things. I remember when it was like Among Us was super huge amongst the horror creators.
Oh yeah, there was.
It really was. It was incredible.
We can do like a quad stream. Everyone streams. Go check out everyone's point of views.
Yeah, like all of us on one Discord call, but we're each individually streaming a different game. And
yeah,
so
that's it. Yeah.
and then just like like hey, shuffle between different streams so you can see what the other people are up to. And
I'd be so down for that. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie.
It would be so fun because here's the thing: you'd be hearing everyone emoting about what's happening on their screen, but you would have no idea until you went to watch each stream individually.
You can do it. What my friends and I used to do, and we'd put up all 4 streams of each other in one on one screen, so we could watch all 4 of everyone else's streams. It's chaotic, yes, but
I was like, can my mind even handle that much information? Good lord!
A friend of mine was streaming life sim games. Like it was The Sims actually. So we had a Sim stream up here. We had a what was it called? I don't remember what games it was. It was like Sims, not a life sim, but like a city building game, a horror game, and I was playing Dragon's Dogma, I think, or Dragon Age. And so it's just all 4 of us. We're sitting in Discord, all watching each other's streams, just like no idea what's happening. We're just vibing big time.
I love the chaos of it.
Yeah, we should end it here, I guess. Then, thank you for coming, everyone. Please go check out the other channel. It's good. Promise.
Yeah, I promise to do the best I can.
Maybe so. Next Saturday, I'm gonna have to talk to some people. I'll announce it sometime this week. But I also have a video coming out next Sunday about liminal hellscapes. I think is what it's called. So that'll be fun when I get to that. But this weekend, we're gonna do a stream that we came up with today. So I'll reach out to some people, and we'll see if we can get that together. But Friday or Saturday, big stream.
So until next time, friends, remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, be sure to hit the bell notification to get updated with all of Sacrow's streams, and until next time, I have been the Midnight Bard. This has been
Sacrow, the not Midnight Bard.
And adios.
Yeah, bye guys. Also, last question. Yeah, no, I'll be making a video about cryptids right now. Maybe a specific cryptid. All right, night everybody.
Bye.
And